I hate to say it, but it originates in the United States. And in 1917, it was legalized in 24 states to forcefully sterilize handicapped people, mentally handicapped people, and a few other groups. And the big medical community was behind this and saying, like, we have to do this to improve the genetic quality of people and stuff. And so it is theorized that while Hitler was actually writing Mein Kampf, he was also reading a book because it was found in his prison, and a book of a famous American eugenicist, and he actually came up with this whole stuff. But that is all a story. But the first part is actually a fact. It was legalized. I think it was in the state of Indiana or something. It was first legalized. I think me and AK talked about this before. What is this stuff?
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it, but the Rockefeller and there was a Carnegie Foundation, and there's another one actually funded the eugenics movement in the U.S. And then the eugenics movement moved over to Nazi Germany. Um, it's like we don't realize our history, and then when people bring it up and say, "Oh, well, the Rockefeller family is evil," well, they are fucking evil. They funded eugenics programs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scientific community, the doctors, and the medical community. This is like the predecessor of the current like genetics movement. Like then it was the eugenics movement, and they really believed, and they were not even all bad people, but they really believed that through like breeding program, breeding in certain ways, and like cutting out the bad parts, they would like improve humanity. And so that's what they really believe, these people, and they actually embraced National Socialism.
Yep.
That Hitler's movement, because they were the only party who literally embraced eugenics. So the medical community was supporting it openly. Also in New York.
Yeah. And Wall Street executives like Prescott Bush, well, just to name a big one, Prescott Bush was involved in the funding of the Nazi Party. He basically funded through what was the bank? Do you remember the bank name, Mark?
Brown Harriman.
I don't remember the bank name, but he used the bank to launder money.
HB. Is that the one?
No. It's a more individual bank. It's not a big name known bank, and I think the bank was actually shut down after. But I can't remember the name of the bank that he used. But anyway, he used the bank to launder funds to the Nazi Party, and then after the Nuremberg trials, he was investigated for funding the Nazis, but he was never charged or nothing in it ever happened. It was just like the bank was shut down and the investigation was killed.
Oh, did we lose somebody?
No. I was just completing my thought.
You were just so blown away by what you just heard that you had to think about it for a second.
No, I'm actually going to try to look up the bank that he was involved with, but
I think it was the Union Banking Corporation, UBC. I'm not sure. I was also searching for it. I found a Guardian article about it, and it
was it UBC?
It says that. Yeah, it says that the documents reveal that this is about Prescott Bush, right? And it says, well, there's no suggestion that Prescott Bush was sympathetic to the Nazi cause. Documents reveal that the firm he worked for, Brown Brothers Harriman, BBH, acted as a U.S. base for the German industrialist Fritz Thyssen, who helped finance Hitler in the 1930s.
Yeah, there's the Guardian whitewashes that completely. There's a Washington Times article that goes into it further. Just Google Prescott Bush Nazis Washington Times, and you'll get a better article on it. But yeah, the Guardian whitewashes it. I don't know why, but
even with the whitewashing, there is still some links are shown in the article. So
yeah.
They were fighting the Bolshevik scum.
Well, that's pretty much it back then. How they were thinking, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, partisan. It was that bad.
Well, that's the same thing with how the U.S. funded the Mujahideen against the Soviets. I mean, it's like they try to reason, well, this is in our best interest to fund terrorists to fight against our other enemy. Like it's literally the same thing that they do over and over again. They did it with the Mujahideen. They did it with al-Nusra and ISIS in Syria to fight against Assad.
Well, they funded the Bolsheviks in the overthrow of the Tsar.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's the
Yep.
same boat.
Alamo, that the Bolsheviks were actually not looking for war with Hitler. I mean, they signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact in 1939, and that declared pretty much peace between Russia and Germany. They would fight the capitalists together, so to speak. It was Hitler who violated that pact and actually invaded.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, there was a documentary I watched about how the Russians betrayed Hitler to overthrow Hitler, and they helped in the destruction of Germany, because if they didn't, then things would have went way differently with the war. The Russians actually provided the Allies with intelligence, so they were working like double agents.
It's a slick con, man. The whole military-industrial complex is a slick con. What's Smedley Butler call it?
War is a racket.
There you go. Damn.
Yeah, and was it before the show? I can't remember if it was before the show or during the show. You actually talked about the whole stuff with the Jewish people being. What was it that Hitler at some point allowed them to leave? I only know that. That they didn't really fit in the National Socialist Society because they were essentially independent and capitalist. So Hitler was kind of afraid, I think, of them. That's one part of it, and the second part is there were war declarations against each other. So yeah. And the whole eugenics movement, I think this is what was used as an excuse, but that is personal.
I'm looking for a link here right now.
Oh yeah.
Need a better one than this.
Oh wait, I'm not in the chat room right now. Hold on.
You kind of missed the YouTube stream because people were always like asking questions in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, and I forgot to record it up until a few minutes ago. So if anybody's wondering what happened to the first hour of this show on YouTube, I forgot to press record up until 5 minutes ago.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
My bad.
So wait. So we were live, but we weren't live. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're live. We're live everywhere else. We're just not live on. Oh, fuck!
You fucked up. He fucked up. I knew it.
Did I do it?
What happened, Tyler?
God damn it! We're not live on Mixer, and we're not live on StreamCraft.
We are live on Periscope, right?
Yeah, we're not live on.
Yeah. That we were live on because I saw.
Okay.
Hold on.
The Periscope is the one we always spread, like.
stream key. This is the stream key. All
We need to
right.
be live on at least like one place so we can like download it.
Let me see if we're live on Mixer. Hold on. There's some weird API rejections and acceptance on this.
They're telling you, do not hack us. Stop hacking us. Stop abusing our API.
It's true, Tyler. Usually like 2 sites or something give that error. I don't know how to fix it.
I don't know either. And then when I check, sometimes we're live. So it's like, what is going on here? Let me go your network, your accounts. Let me go here. Let me go to your accounts. I don't care about that shit. Your network. Oh, broadcast.
It doesn't like the script that you made to launch on 50 different websites all.
Tyler sometimes using like proxies and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that. You're doing it for YouTube too, or like illegalized for a long time.
Well, it worked for a minute.
Yeah, well, they don't like proxies, especially if they're paid proxies to where they can't trace where you're coming.
What the fuck? Let me see if we're live. Are we live here? All right.
There is that Dlive. We broadcast to that place too still, or?
Let me see if we're live. We're live on Mixer. What the fuck? It says on the back end we're not live at all. All right.
There is that Dlive.
I mean, that's a good
as
thing
long
you
as
got all these.
you're live on Twitch and you're live on Periscope, you know.
It's a good thing you're using the most fastest equipment there is and the best software, and we're so technically advanced we can get and still not be sure.
Well, the monitoring stuff we have on the back end is not. You can't exactly see what you're doing on some of these sites unless you go to the actual link on where they go.
That's
to.
just faulty coding.
Yeah, it is. It's also faulty.
It doesn't show the amount of users either. Tyler. Like it's always just like 0 or Periscope, and then I click on it. There's like 15 people watching or something. It's very weird.
Oh, they're my channel. Are we live? Stream has ended. Oh, why am I not live here? The fuck? Edit settings.
Still live on Periscope. I'm watching it right now.
Maybe we got kicked off of StreamCraft.
I've never seen the entire site StreamCraft.
Really? Me neither, but we're live there sometimes.
We also get like viewers on VK.com, right? All these Russians are watching us, but like we're never talking to them. Like we're never replying.
No, we never reply to anything. All right, here we
go. You want to jump into Epstein and the information about him signing his will 2 days before he killed himself?
Yes, yeah, let's go there. Let's go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's a great rabbit hole to go down. There's now a lawsuit in New York federal court about 3 witnesses are suing 7 businesses and all of the associates that are associated with the business, saying that they enabled his trafficking. And in the lawsuit, they are actually called disciples of Epstein.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They said that there were 7 businesses that facilitated his trafficking operation. They were shell companies. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that nobody has a international sex kitty sex ring in the Caribbean for 20 years without paying off some people. You know, that's all I got to say about that.
Well, it actually started in the 1990s, as far as I traced it back.
Okay, so 30 years, almost 30 years now.
Ghislaine Maxwell specifically got her a pilot license to fly helicopters to fly people to that island. She says it. Like, there's an old interview with her, and she fucking admits it. Like, she admits that she got her pilot license to fly people
You know, they found
securely
her.
and privately to.
They found her. She was living in Massachusetts.
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah.
Isn't
They haven't done fuck all like
isn't there a warrant out for her arrest for an FTA?
Failure. What
To
is that?
appear
Failure
in court?
to appear. Yeah. There's a warrant out for her arrest of failure to appear in, I think, a Florida court. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as far as I know, FTAs aren't.
They're not.
Order.
Yeah, they're not exactly guaranteed to go to jail, but you're going to spend a night in jail for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's not across border, right? It's not across state borders, so she can't be arrested in Massachusetts and then transferred to Florida.
Probably not, but it's such a
As
big
far as I know,
case.
they're not.
It's such a big case
They're
that
not.
they might, if somebody really wanted to, they'll snatch her.
Well, I heard a rumor that there's pending 5 indictments in the Epstein case, but then that was
I'm surprised they haven't
changed.
frozen
I
her
think
assets.
after they dropped the federal case against Epstein, because they actually dropped the case against Epstein. It was requested to be dropped because he was dead, and they were saying that the criminal case. The criminal charges, they were going to drop the criminal charges against Epstein, but they said we'll continue investigating the rest of the ring, which doesn't make sense to me. It's like you drop your federal charges against Epstein, and I'm pretty sure that means that all of the evidence that they found, including the blackmail tapes and the blackmail books, would be invalid in a lawful court. I think. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, the criminal aspect is not done because anybody affiliated with this fuck has some dirt on them.
Well, I think Gene Luck Brunel should be charged and taken in, because it's like he has so many people now that are saying, this guy was basically raping children, trafficking them to Epstein, and involved in other trafficking in South America and other third world countries where he was taking underage girls and bringing them in to meet Epstein and all this other stuff. So I think that Gene Luck Brunel should be charged and arrested immediately, and they should put him in witness protection so he doesn't die from suicide. But that's if the FBI was actually
suicide,
useful.
right?
Yeah, but that's if the FBI was actually going to do something useful and actually do a real investigation, And it doesn't look like they're going to do a real investigation. They never raided. They have still yet to raid the Zorro Ranch, where I've actually talked to somebody. They said that there was a video that they found on Zorro Ranch, or not on, not at the Zorro Ranch, but on Zorro Ranch, where it took place in Zorro Ranch, where they said it was depraved, that it was a depraved video. And, depraved, I talked about this the last, what was it, Monday, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when we held the Epstein episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I talked about it a bit then, but, depraved video can mean anything from child abuse to, like murder, like it can mean anything. But, there was a rumor that they found a video that took place on Zorro Ranch that was a depraved video. And basically, they haven't raided the ranch, even though that this was going around. So I don't fucking know. I
the
have
New
no
Mexico
idea.
one?
Right, yeah, right. So who the hell knows what's going to happen, because they haven't raided the ranch. It's like, if it was a real investigation, they would have raided that ranch already. Like, I don't understand. They raided the island. They raided the Manhattan mansion. They raided his Palm Beach mansion. They have not touched the ranch. They didn't touch the property in Paris. They didn't touch the other property somewhere in Europe. So it's like if it was a real investigation, they would have touched these places and would have raided these places, looked for everything that they possibly could. But the other thing to say is that Epstein got tipped off by the somebody within the police because there was a former MMA fighter, Igor something. I can't remember his name. I could pull it up and look for it.
Yeah.
But basically, he was saying that years ago, he said that Epstein got tipped off by somebody at the sheriff department before they were going to arrest him, and that he basically hid all the evidence before. And there's also another thing where Epstein was tipped off before Miami Herald ran their series, and 2 months prior, he purchased a tile remover and a carpet, a new carpet, and he also purchased a 100K cement truck recently.
The height of dead body, dude.
What do you need a cement truck for? Oh well, I don't know. I'm just filling in dead bodies. Like, what the fuck do you need a cement truck for? Seriously.
You get a pig farm while you're at it, bro.
Well, that's for all the extra construction that's going on that other island he bought, the Greater St. James. They're still under construction.
Yeah, but it was the cement truck that was shipped to St. James Island. It wasn't shipped to Greater St. James. It was shipped to the pedophile island, and I think personally, I'm not sure about this, but I think he personally filled up those tunnels with cement. I mean, I can't prove it, right? But if I had a drone, somebody who has a drone, fly it over to Epstein's Island and tell me if those tunnels are filled in with cement.
I was going to say, that's you're going to need a boat ride, bro. Let's see if John McAfee will lend us his boat.
He can move in with his team.
I don't know. I don't hate John McAfee. I think he's cool as fuck. I just think that he's too high all the time, though.
Yeah.
He needs to sober up a little bit,
Well, the rumor on the internet is that John McAfee has a scat fetish, so we won't go any further.
You become a billionaire, you have these weird fetishes. It's normal, right? You like a little bit of poop in your mouth,
Well, I mean, yeah,
that's torturing little girls fetish from Epstein.
Well, we can all argue that till the cows come home. But I was gonna say,
John McAfee's, fetishes are, out there in reality land, But
I guess it's between two adults, right? And
he married a prostitute. I mean, he's not out there, and she is. I'm not gonna say, Mrs. McAfee. She's got a good head on her shoulders. To be honest with you, she's a smart cookie. But John, I like the guy. He's just too high all the time.
Like the guy is too high all the time.
Yeah, he's like, he's like that guy that, like, hey man, maybe you shouldn't do a bump when you first wake up. Maybe we should wait till the night. No. We're gonna do it all day, and we're gonna record shit. No, you should probably wait till after you're done recording, John. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he get his shit together. I don't know. I don't ever think he's going to get that boat back either.
What happened with that? Anybody know? What happened with John McAfee?
So when John McAfee was floating around in the Caribbean, he docked in the Dominican Republic, and he was posting pictures of him with a shotgun and a machine gun on his boat, which he had acquired. When you're in international waters, gun laws are a little different. There really is the lay of the land. There really are no laws. So when he docked onto there really weren't any laws until he docked onto port. So when you dock onto a port, you're supposed to tell them what exactly you have or whatever you're going to bring on. I think it's legal to have it as long as you don't bring it onto port. That's not what happened. When John McAfee went to port, he was raided. They had the police force.
Yeah.
They just raided his shit. They went on there. They arrested him for about a week. and they let him go, but they didn't let the boat go, and now the Bahamas or whatever fucking country it is, I don't know what country. These little island nations, I don't know who governs what, but I do know the Bahamas are investigating what was supposedly on John's boat. I don't know what they're looking for, but I suspect an alphabet agency is looking for him with some of the evidence. Word down the food chain is he is in Russia right now. He is far within Russia.
Or within Russia?
Yeah,
is he with Edward Snowden?
Well, I'm just saying that he's so far in Russia. I don't think an alphabet agency will try and get him there, but you know, I don't know. It's John. You know, there's, you know, I didn't believe that there were any alphabet agencies after him at first, but then there's overwhelming evidence that alphabet agencies are watching him. So.
Well, you just don't fuck with governments, even if it is the government of, what's that country down there, Belize? You know, it's like you just don't do that and walk away.
Oh yeah, the CIA definitely tailing. I do believe that the CIA has been tailing John McAfee for a while. I wholeheartedly believe that. Now, what does he have? I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I mean, he claims to have blackmail on CIA people, but
we don't know.
I mean, if he was arrested, right? I mean, wouldn't some stuff start leaking out?
I know it's John.
Well, that was the fake. That was the fake passports for like ISIS fighters way back in the day through Belize.
Well, yeah, you know, actually, John is a dual citizen. I didn't even know that. So he is primarily a UK citizen and has dual citizenship in the United States. So he's not exactly an American either. So he doesn't have to abide by U.S. standard laws. I didn't even realize that until about 3 weeks ago. So he posted his his UK and U.S. passports.
Huh.
Interesting.
Who are these people?
Well, I mean, you know, now he's living in Russia. He could probably get a citizenship through, they'll probably grant him asylum in Russia.
He's already somewhere in Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah, he's in Russia for sure, 100%.
So
Yeah.
he's going to run for president in Russia. This ought to go up.
It's John McAfee, yo.
He can do it. 1 million followers now.
I mean, yeah, he can do it. I mean, there's no way he's winning, but you know, I mean, he can.
Be like another Trump, you know. He's out there. He could say things and get away with things that nobody else could. He's John McAfee.
He can, and he's actually growing in support too. He's growing fast. Like, I think he made like over 100,000 new followers in just 2 weeks. This guy.
Are we sure that those are legitimate followers and not bots or Russian bots
sure.
or fucking
I think so.
UK bots?
He's getting a lot of retweets too. Like, it's like a lot of people are actually retweeting his stuff. Like, I don't see this very often.
Well, that would be pretty funny if John McAfee wins and then both of the two-party candidates are like, "What the fuck?"
Why is John McAfee winning in the polls? We don't even know who John McAfee is.
I'm voting Libertarian for Vermin Supreme. He's my candidate.
I agree.
Can I vote for Terminator?
Hey, you can sign him in, yeah.
All right, I'm going
put
for
it in
Ronald McDonald.
perspective.
Just be advised if
This guy has got like got 1.5 times as many followers as Tulsi Gabbard.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
I always love it when
700K.
John McAfee is going on. He goes on his timeline where he talks about which weed is the best, or which drink will get you fucked up the quickest. Yeah, called it Mixology, where dude, I saw this one thing on Mixology where he poured half a cup, you know, like a whiskey cup, because I was a bartender at one point, you know, so he filled up half the thing with whiskey or vodka, and he said it was a drink, and then he mixed it with an apricot, which he chewed in his mouth. And I said in my head, he just downed 4.5 shots of vodka and chewed a fucking apricot and called it a chaser. That's fucking like, whoa, like that's like alcoholic status, bro.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt that he is. And on the topic of Vermin Supreme, I actually met him at the DNC, and even he knew that Hillary Clinton cheated Bernie Sanders
Of course she did.
out of nomination.
That's why I like.
Even he
like
knew.
John, I even as much as John has his substance abuse
He probably
problems,
won't.
as much as John has a substance abuse problem, I'm not going to deny that he's a smart guy. He really is.
Of course, he's a smart
Hey,
guy.
his platform is the best one out there, I think. I mean, despite the way he looks, he's smart. Let's give him that. Be better. It'd be better than now.
He's
better
a smart
than Hillary.
guy. Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, all John McAfee has to do is say, "Vote for me, and I'll give you a free Bitcoin." One free Bitcoin for everybody who votes for me.
Or we'll do an airdrop.
Well, you know how Vermin Supreme says that everybody who votes for him gets a free pony. I mean, obviously it's sarcasm, but you do something like that, and you'll have thousands and thousands and thousands of voters just all of a sudden, and then it spreads to millions, and yeah,
You'll have pony shit everywhere.
I don't know. John would be a cool guest to get on here. I don't know if we can get him, but one of these days we will.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Quick story. I was trying to on my old account. I actually had John McAfee following me. I talked to him about promoting a cryptocurrency, asking him how much it would cost. He told me 50% of the crypto supply plus $1 million in Ethereum. And I was like, what?
I think John was doing a little bit too much yayo that day, but you can't take the 50. You can't take 50% of any fucking coin into a circulating supply into your own den. Nobody does that.
It's like you want 50% of the coin supply. That'd
be like giving out like a fork of Bitcoin and saying that 50% of that fork is going to go to John McAfee's wallet for promotion. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, yeah, he could fork Bitcoin and call it John McAfee coin. Oh god, I give him an idea.
Dude, if it has the Bitcoin on the fork, if it uses the Bitcoin or the Lightning network, it's still, dude, you can add an extra zero onto that coin, so it's gonna be worth more than $9. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like Bitcoin Gold and fucking
anything
Bitcoin
that has
Diamond.
any fork of Bitcoin is worth more than $9.
At least with Bitcoin Cash, it actually has money backing it. Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Diamond, it's like you literally just forked code a coin.
Yeah, it's literally
to create
garbage.
money. Yes. It's like there's no real use for it. Like with Bitcoin Cash, you can use it to buy various different things, and Bitcoin, it's more of a storage type of thing. But Bitcoin Diamond and all that, it's just speculation.
Do you remember when the Bitcoin before? Well, this is before Bitcoin was worth so much. You don't see it too much more often, but we used to see tampering in the actual code with Bitcoin, where people were putting their pictures in the coin written in ASCII art.
Yeah.
That was funny as fuck.
Yeah, no, that still goes on. You can write pictures or messages into Bitcoin's
but you don't see that. You don't see that as often anymore. At least I don't.
Yeah, because most people don't even know you could do it.
You can. Dead air. Did we lose somebody? AK, did we lose you?
I
AK?
saw Alamo.
You know how this Discord app is.
Oh, AK.
He'll be back. It happens often. I don't know, guys.
Oh, we got more. So the Hong Kong protests are going on. I do want to get into that.
They adopted.
Uh-oh. Mark? John? John? Oh, shit.
Technology.
I'm losing. I'm not connected very well. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was
He's back
replying
at-
to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it seemed Discord had hiccuped.
They're catching up to the whole West United States server now too.
Yeah, that's just
Guess
the NSA
switching.
saying hello. We're watching.
No, they're blocked from Discord. Okay.
All right,
what's
it's just
weird
a
is-
GCHQ
Yeah,
saying
I was
hello.
gonna say it's weird too because I think this is all UDP VoIP packets, so there should be no synchronization at all.
No. Yeah, I know that's normal, right? It's always UDP on voice things.
I was like, why should the quality even matter?
Yeah.
I mean, how far are we being limited when you can't even get your voice across?
Yeah, well, we're using a Discord server, so God knows how much we're piggybacking off of, and who's doing what. So obviously,
you said it.
somebody's doing something big.
Damn setup screen says it's 500K, you know, but I can't get my voice across. It's like, whatever.
Well, this is one thing I do have to say is that Discord's development team needs to step it up a notch. And if you guys are listening, to the Discord team, posting JavaScript notes in the console.log on your thing, posting notes of where people shouldn't be putting stuff into the console.log is not it's not a standard practice to tell people not to type into someplace because they're going to get scammed on a inspect element page. So I don't understand. Yeah, if you inspect element onto the web browser, onto a web browser version of Discord app, you'll see on the console.log they have all of these warnings. Do not type here. You're gonna get scammed. Blah 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 blah. This, and I'm just like, they're just altering HTML and they're not really interacting with your database, so it really isn't that much. It's just the Discord app. You'll see on the console.log they have all of these warnings. Whoa, I'm hearing myself talk.
Yeah, no, you're right, but you're right, Tyler. It's just like the local version of something that's already downloaded. It doesn't connect with them.
Yeah, it doesn't connect to anything. It's just like if I want to change the 1 to a 0, I'm going to alter the HTML on my end, but it doesn't really change anything. So what's the point in putting any notes there? And the console.log, maybe I can ask your database this and that based on the code that you put in there, but I really can't interact with it. So
it's funny. I still see it's mostly like these new blots, right? Like in Anonymous that they are still using like screenshots and stuff as proof. For
Screenshots don't mean anything anymore, though.
It's not 1995 anymore, dude. Like, stop with this stuff.
Well, even back then, I mean, you could create using inspect element. You can create fucking. I mean, I don't know about 1995, but I think so too, but I'm not 100%. But using inspect element, you can literally create fucking fake screenshots, and you can have somebody say whatever the fuck they want, and it's not proof to use screenshots, guys.
Yeah, Discord. If you inspect the element on the console log on the JavaScript end of it, you will see that there are a bunch of warnings on there. Like if you type here, you're getting scammed, and don't do this, and it has a whole bunch of warnings, and I'm just like. It's irrelevant. I was gonna say it's so irrelevant because hacking at that level, because I know that they have a lot of their shit under lock and key, and their shit isn't 100% patched, and yes, there are Discord exploits, but really attacking it from that end is not where that would not be my first entry point. Would be on some trying to fuck around with your code, you know. That would just not be that'd be not one that wouldn't be one of my entry points.
It would be more lucrative to actually fuck with like one of the larger bots, I think.
Yeah.
On Discord. Some bots are like in 10,000s of servers, and they can actually do a lot of damage, and they will be a lot easier to like exploit than Discord itself.
Yeah.
You know what we did with the Rex.
Well, we know that there was an exploit on Discord to give, what is it, Discord Plus or whatever the fuck it was?
Nitro.
Yeah. We know that there was an exploit to give like free Nitro. So I mean, guys,
Yeah, pretty much
you
phishing
really
scam.
get it your code.
It's a phishing scam. But like we did do a lot of pen testing against some Discord bots, and
Yeah, some of them are wide open. In fact, some of them are listening into your conversations.
remember all the stuff we uploaded on that one bot. We always had it like in a server. It was like at the end.
Yeah,
it was,
I even tell the
all
developers
files
to go fuck themselves every once in a while.
It was so bad.
Yeah, you can
We
type
lost
in.
that server 3 times.
Yeah, you can tell that one bot. You can tell on notations. You can type in. Was it leave a comment or quote pound colon semicolon leave a comment, and then you type in fuck you with quotation marks, and it'll send it to the developer.
Yeah. It was also it was like using like Ubuntu OS, and we were like pen testing on it and like uploading files to it, and like it was like the main directory was like filled with all these text files with all these weird names we had like inserted, hacked by this, hacked by that. Everyone was like all these people were like trying to do the same and like leave their signature on it.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, Discord.
Yeah, that's what you
Discord
call trolling.
really isn't secure as it should be, and I don't know if they ever will be. It kind of gives its color, its pizzazz. It is kind of the Wild Wild West at Discord. I'm not gonna lie. You know, there are some major exploits going around right now where you can get elevated privileges just by determining on what bot is in your chat. So I mean, you know, it's I like it because it's the Wild Wild West. I don't like it because it's too hard on rules, but there are rules. I don't know. It's kind of in between. You know, I don't like it and I don't hate it. You know.
Some depend on these bots so much that if you would like find out like an IP address of a bot and you would like take it down or something.
Oh
that,
yeah.
They have no protection in their server. You can like invade it.
Oh yeah. Like the one in Germany. Yeah. He has no cloud protection on that thing.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That the one in Germany we were like filling with files.
Yeah.
But I think they actually liked it too. I think it was like they didn't mind so much. But yeah. You know, we lost that server like 3 times.
Oh, I know. I was a little scared too. Oh.
I mean, back then. They didn't have any rules for like hacking, exploiting, and just
No, they
doing
really
some research.
Yeah, they really don't have any official policy on accounts that they find that are hacking other accounts. They just patch their code and pretend like nothing happened.
Yeah, they have this annoying snitch button, of course, that you can report everything, and then the server is gone again. And we never hurt like a person for it. We were just testing stuff. We were never hurting anyone with it. We just.
Well, I think that the report button should be renamed Snitch.
Snitch.
Snitch button. Yeah, they can just call it like.
Call it the snitch bot. Let me see if I can change the narrative.
Iran. You see what was happening in Iran?
Yeah, Iran just got its hands on a new surface-to-air missile comparable to the new Russian anti-CBM missile thing that was being sold around. Iran just made their own. Is that what you're
Actually, I
talking
think
about?
Russia sent it to Iran, I believe.
Oh, Russia's. I thought they made this on their own.
I thought they made this on their own.
No, I heard you twice. On
Very
myself.
redundant. I'm gonna call you Deuce.
Deuce. Did we lose somebody again?
No, actually, okay, you're right. It's a homemade Russian missile system. So
Yeah.
they made it. They made it by themselves, but it was using, I guess, Russian blueprints or something.
Yeah.
I haven't fully read into it yet, so yeah.
Well, they better test those because that other Russian missile didn't do very good last couple of weeks.
Oh God.
They kind of fucked that one up.
I mean, that was an advanced weapon, as far as I know.
And they don't want to talk
It wasn't
about it.
a Russian missile. It was an advanced weapon.
Man, I don't want to call it an advanced weapon until it looks like fucking the Knight Rider and it flies.
Knight Rider? Is it like 1985, bro?
No.
Hello, David.
It's like a Tesla with a sweet voice.
Hello, Michael.
It's a Pontiac Banshee.
Yeah, and if you ever need to blow shit up or catch something on fire, just crash it into something and watch what happens.
Yeah, so this Iran is stepping up its game. I feel like this is Iran flexing its muscles, but we know as well as anybody else does that the people of Iran are kind of like they are in America or anywhere else in the world. It's really, they're showing their force, but I know 2 years ago that Iran was almost toppled by its own people. Anybody remember that 2 years ago, 2017, the Iran protests?
There was like university protests. I don't
Yeah,
know
they
how
were going
far
all
away
over
really
all over Iran. They were trying to overthrow the government. In fact, it went on for almost half a year.
I don't think they like the mullahs really, but they're entrenched.
Yeah.
And we're probably backing them behind the scenes. So.
Oh yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. That's what I said. Yeah, it was probably the CIA helping them because for the past couple of years, the CIA has been involved in Iran, Syria. That's their territory of trying to overthrow various different regimes.
Yeah, well, the only way to do it in Iran is to actually use its own people, of course, because it's just too big. You're talking about, I think, 80 million people, so you can't just overthrow it with your army like you do to Iraq. So you try to use the people inside it. It's an obvious strategy. I think it was not under Ahmadinejad. I think Ahmadinejad was doing fine in Iran. Not a good person, of course. I mean, also like a very bad guy. But I think this current government is like more like religious. He was more like where he was educated in the West and stuff. He was.
Oh yeah. It's a highly religious culture. Yeah, for sure. And
Ahmadinejad was a very smart guy, and he also had a lot of friends in high politics in other countries and stuff. It was like I don't want to say like Trump or whatever, but like just like a face to a government, right? Like everyone knew this guy. It was like Now you don't really know who is like the leader there. Like they don't really show up like as a one single person.
well, it's not only that, since the whole breakdown with Western politics with Iran, the only news I ever come out of Iran is from Twitter and tidbits here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. And pretty much all their allies have been attacked in that whole
Uh-huh.
American 21st century plan. So, yeah, they're kind of on their own now, but like Russia is backing them, and Russia is not a small force either.
No.
Would not wage war with Russia.
Well, yeah.
Not
The
a good
thing is,
idea.
Iran doesn't have a small military either. It has a fairly large military too.
Oh,
So
yeah, definitely, definitely. Too large to just invade, and it says enough that the Germans, for example, refused to participate to like in securing the waters in front of Iran. And they pretty much say like, it's not our neighborhood. Why should we be there? Why do we have to do that? It's like this is like this is thousands of miles away from the USA. USA doesn't have to be there either.
no, they don't.
And it's also a war. They like that distance. It's not easy to win a war. Like not against an 80 million people country. Iraq is a different story.
Well, yeah, pretty much what we're seeing, besides the West and the Middle East, as far as Iran is, it's just a huge standoff, and that's the way it's gonna be until somebody says "uncle," and
Yeah.
and somebody fires off a round at something.
Yeah. The
On
thing is,
another
like,
note, go ahead.
go ahead, that guy.
No, I was just going to jump to a different topic of Venezuela, but you go ahead. Say.
Oh no, I was going to say like these economic sanctions don't really work against a country like Iran too, because there are like a few big partners who will then like buy all the oil, for example. Like now you're talking about Russia, for example, and people like China who don't really care much about these sanctions. It actually becomes cheaper for them to buy. So,
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
so they just sell the entire stock to like a super big country like China who needs like an endless supply.
Yep, and that can lead us into um, the Venezuelan situation again. The U.S. Navy said that they're planning a mission in Venezuela. So yeah, they're still trying to go for Venezuela at the same time that Iran is going on too. Basically, Trump just wants to go to war with the entire world:
Look,
China,
we haven't no
Russia,
we
Venezuela, Iran.
have an empire to run. I mean, if you're going to do it right, you have to keep attacking people, and until it's just all yours. That's the only way.
Yeah, you forgot about the part where the other countries nuke us, and not even just nukes, but bombs and all the dead innocent people.
Look, man, you have to be as craven as these psychopaths that run us. You can't worry about shit like that.
I see.
It gets in the way of empire.
Back to Epstein, I just saw this pop up in my news feed. Epstein's jail guards warned his cellmate there will be a price to pay if he talks about Epstein's suicide, the lawyer claims. So
yeah?
this is Nicholas Targlione's lawyer saying that his client, Nicholas Targlione, is being threatened by the jail guards. There will be a price to pay if he talks about Epstein's suicide. So that's very interesting. Like this whole case is just like back fucked. Like what the fuck? Epstein tells his lawyers that Nicholas Targlione tried to choke him, and then Nicholas Targlione tells his lawyers that the jail guards are threatening him. Like what the fuck?
Well, you got to remember how a pedo, he's not really liked in jail. I mean, especially a guy like that, he's going to get taken care of. So I mean,
Oh
that
yeah,
part
for
of it
sure.
makes sense. I mean, and that guy was huge, man. That ex cop, he's known for dishing it out. So it was like no big deal.
Yeah, and it's already known that he was in the New York cocaine trade and stuff. And and we read that Epstein actually signed his will 2 days before he died, and like the only fucking witness with it was like a lawyer, and that lawyer was the lawyer for El Chapo.
Yeah. No, yeah, there was two witnesses, but one of the witnesses
And one
was
is named.
a lawyer for El Chapo. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah, how weird
And
is
now,
that?
yeah, and now they're actually saying that Epstein gamed the system from his grave by signing the money from his will over to a foundation trust, and they said that it will take years to get that money out. Years, and by the time that you get the money out, it could all be gone. Like, it's like, what the fuck, man? It's like this guy is literally allowed to run amok, even in death. Like, what the fuck?
It's rich privilege. If you have enough money, you can get away with shit like this. That's the lesson.
I see.
Unfortunately, yeah, you're witnessing it. Shit's happening right in front of your face, and it's like, Trump's in office, but does the DOJ do anything? It's like, well, we'll have to look. We'll have to do another investigation. It's like, yeah. It's funny how you guys got to do investigations while these criminals continue to do what they do.
I mean, the word investigation should just be changed to cover up. That way it makes it easier, We got to go do another cover up. It's so ridiculous, man. It's like every investigation has been a cover up since like the past 20 years. Like, I don't remember the FBI. Like, when you apply to the FBI, do they now say, will you cover up corruption if we ask you to? Check.
Yeah, you have to be from a drama major so you can play roles.
It all makes sense.
That should make it easier.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. They're all actors. I got it.
Yeah, you're just an actor in a play. Just do what you're told.
Certainly seems that way from having William Barr and Robert Mueller come up, like, Jesus Christ, like, what the fuck are we just recycling actors now? Like, god damn. So. Anybody remember what William Barr did years ago? He covered up a lot of the investigations into the CIA. Yeah, it's like, you're never going to get a real investigation from William Barr.
But you had all the Trumplicans clapping like seals, man. They're like, "All right, yeah, this guy, he's Mr. Straight. He's gonna get to the bottom of it." Yeah, it's like, really?
Yeah.
It's like, where do you get that? Like,
Q.
Yeah.
That's exactly where. It's like, oh, Q told me that William Barr is such a good guy, but he left out all the shit that he did protecting the CIA years ago.
But you have to talk like this, AK, and follow the plan, and then everything's going to be all right.
Oh, everything's going to be okay. It's all right. Just follow the plan. Just follow the.
Just follow the fucking plan.
Yeah. Yeah, John Bolton. Yeah. He's a good guy. He changed. He changed around. He's no longer a regime change guy. Oh my god. Like, honestly, with the Q shit, when John Bolton was put in office, everybody should have been like, all right, fuck this Q shit. This Q shit is bullshit. He just said that John Bolton is a good guy. Throw that shit in the trash. Like, what the fuck?
Well, they're hooked now.
Well, literally, somebody pointed it out. I think it was Truther on Twitter, that basically Q said that Hillary Clinton and John Podesta were going to get arrested, and then the week after, when nothing happened, he said that John Bolton was a positive thing for the Trump administration. I mean, those two things connected, like, within a week, you should have been jumping off ship. Oh, but Q predicted the arrest of Epstein and all that.
Well, it's those 100,000 sealed indictments that never materialize. You never get to see that shit that's coming
You
in the
know what those
pipeline.
indictments are? Those indictments are guaranteed. I guarantee you, it's not MS-13. I guarantee it's MS-13 and other illegals. I guarantee that's what those sealed indictments are. And I've said that before. It just doesn't. For a while, all right.
I don't think there are any sealed indictments. It's all bullshit, man.
No, there are.
It's like,
There are
hey,
sealed
I'll
indictments.
tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, no, I got a secret, man. I'm going to tell you a secret, but I'm not going to tell it to you until tomorrow, okay? But I got a secret.
Oh man, no, there really are sealed indictments, but the sealed indictments are likely to be MS-13 gang members and other illegals in the U.S. And yeah, I do connect MS-13 to illegals because I'm not saying every illegal is a part of MS-13, but the MS-13 gang is certainly not going to register and say that we are a citizen of the U.S.
You don't think he's going to assimilate well?
No.
Then, well,
But yeah, I mean that stuff right there. Everybody should have been jumping ship with Q, and it's like, why? You know the Q idiots actually believe that Epstein is alive and in the custody of
I
Trump.
saw that.
he had a fake Saudi passport and a fake Israeli passport at one time. So, I mean, it could be.
Yes, but how do you escape federal prison?
You got $1 billion. You fake your death,
That's
and then
true.
you're gone, and you're laughing. Yeah. They
Well,
don't
wait,
have
no,
your-
he didn't have $1 billion. He had a couple million.
He had 500
Yeah, no,
million.
no.
He had
But,
half a billion. Yeah,
Yeah, we're not talking
He had half a
thousands
billion,
like the bird feed we make. No, this is billions, dude. You can do fucking anything, man.
Yeah, we're only talking about registered money, right? 600 million. But
watch,
there
he's
will
living in
be a lot of,
Antarctica with his little pedophile buddies, and he's like, "Yay, Antarctica!" And then he dies 6 months later.
yeah, well, everything's possible if you got so much money. I mean, you can do anything. You can buy these clones, doppelgangers.
Yeah,
You probably paid
I think
for it
that-
because he was an asset, right? They keep saying he was an asset and FBI informant and all this. Well, then he just goes into witness protection, and you fake the whole thing.
Allegedly, he was CIA, and there's some information that Whitney Webb of Mint Press is going to be publishing about Epstein being a CIA agent, which I haven't looked into too much, but I know that there was speculation about it years ago by the British tabloid Daily Mail years ago, saying that Ghislaine Maxwell's boyfriend at the time, Epstein, was suspected to be a CIA agent, which I don't know anything more besides that pointing to it. But if there is
Well,
more, then
you found yourself also. Remember that Amazon account of that lady?
yeah, the Amazon account's really fucking weird. Somebody sent me that, and that Amazon account is supposedly Ghislaine Maxwell's, and it has a whole bunch of books that she read, and I like the last review was the book that she was reading on the CIA assassinating people. Like, I don't remember what's the name of the book. Do you remember, Mark?
No, not really. But I just remember what the review said, and that was that giving your life for the Secret Service and stuff. And it was shortly after the death of Epstein. She was proud of someone giving her his life for the Secret Service like that, and all these things. So it's pretty much
Well,
basic.
obviously we couldn't confirm if that's a real legitimate account of hers, but the account was named G Maxwell on Amazon, and it was posting reviews of various books all the way back to, like, what was it, 2012?
Yeah, 2012, and they were all books that would fit the picture. They were like about exactly these subjects. And also like old reviews from 2012, like long before this guy was ever the picture like that. And was already giving reviews about like girls and trafficking and all these things. So
Yeah, well, in 2008, I mean, it's when everything kind of started breaking. It didn't break fully until 2009, but in 2008 is when the media started getting involved in reporting on Epstein and everything that was going on. So, yeah.
So in theory, it could be possible that someone actually made this and has been all these years giving reviews on books, being this person, making like a whole story of it.
Well, it's like Hitler in the bunker. You know, he wasn't there. Let's put it that way. Pretty solid. He wasn't there, so
No,
you can't get away with it.
that's proven, I think, and that is I've read more about that. That they actually the pictures released back then were delivered by the Soviets and were used as propaganda material to make the rest of them surrender faster. Actually, good reasons to do it back then. But it was actually a butler, I think, who looked exactly like Hitler.
There was also newspapers that reported it and said that Hitler's body was never found, and everybody ignored those newspapers, and they went along with the Hitler committed suicide narrative. And actually, in declassified JFK documents that Trump released, in the documents it says that JFK was convinced that Hitler was alive and sent FBI agents to the to Argentina to look for Hitler.
Oh yeah,
So-
they found out that his body, the bodies they had in the museums were both female, both of them. So
Yeah,
it was definitely
and there
not
are all,
Hitler that was in. Hitler's body was not in that bunker. It was two females.
yeah, and there are older FBI documents than the Kennedy. They're also from 1945 and 1948, and that they were still searching for Hitler.
Oh yeah,
And
they were searching for
in
him for
Argentina.
almost 3 or 4 decades after World War II. I think to the 80s. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. And a lot of U-boats disappeared and never came back too. Long after the war, they arrived in Argentina, and there are a whole like enclaves of Nazis there, and this would be very easy for them to protect him there. The government was kind of like supportive of the Nazis.
Well, they had a picture of him, that had surfaced. It definitely looks like Hitler
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
from the 60s. It looks like what a 70-year-old Adolf Hitler should look like.
I wouldn't be surprised that they actually let him. That actually kept him alive. Because I think they must have been aware of it, the Allied forces. Although the Mossad, for example, would have killed him, I think.
Yeah, he
How do
probably.
you get away with that, though? I mean, you're going to tell me you had a world war and you can't find the guy that started it? I mean, give me a break, man. I just no, yeah, you just can't be credible if that's the story.
Yeah, but then we go back to that whole Prescott Bush stuff again, and the ties of the United States, for example, with Nazis and some powerful people inside the United States actually working with them, and it's and because they know the system from the inside and they know where agents are searching, what agents are doing, and they have access to files, it's easy to circumvent the actual system, I think. So, yeah, if you have access to the intelligence agencies and you know what they're going to do, like next week they're coming to Argentina and they're going to search here and here, and they know that you're living here, so better you move to another secret castle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. I mean, you see this with other, with like smaller fishes, like I want to say like people like El Chapo, for example. We just talked about it. He escaped like prison like 3 or 4 times, like high security prisons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a difference there. See, there's another guy. He's a billionaire too, but somehow he's like the bad guy. He's the narco billionaire, and that's like not okay. A pedo billionaire is okay, but a narco billionaire is not okay.
Yeah, mass murderers.
Even
Okay, too.
even when he's working for you, there's really no difference. You know, if they're both assets, well, then they're really the same thing.
Yeah, well, you can jump into the whole conspiracy theories surrounding that whole Nazi war. Like, they had backup plans, right? They had like an economic plan to like regain power through economic means if the military plans would fail, and they created all these conferences. And later on, you have Nazi sympathizers like Prince Bernhard in my country creating the Bilderberg, for example. And have North Atlantic elites gathering together. So there are some fingerprints there of the Germans. So just saying.
Yeah, and I mean, even you got Juncker as the EU president. I mean, they didn't go far. You know, it's the same guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They're not even like openly hiding it. I mean, the Deutsche Bank was active in World War II. The Deutsche Bank is now fully invested, like all around the world. They're investing in governments, and they're investing in real estate in Florida. So no one is stopping them, and that money they're using to invest has to come from somewhere. And this originates also from confiscated money from countries they invaded. So it's easy.
Uh-oh.
Well,
And you have the old IG Farben, right? They now have Bayer being very big, buying companies like Monsanto. This is also money all originates from the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not even hiding it. People are allowing it in capitalist society. It's allowed like that.
Well, IG Farben, they did a lot of despicable things in Nazi Germany. They literally helped the effort, and it was like, well, why should this company still exist after World War II? Like,
You can look at old records and you can see that like usually like on the other side of the road of like the larger concentration camps, for example, there were like factories and buildings of IG Farben. People would actually
yeah,
go there to work
yeah.
there as slaves. So
Yep, yep. It's very true. They used the prisoners in the concentration camps as working slaves in IG Farben. It's like, well, why is this business allowed to change its name to Bear and coexist, now? Like, but
yeah, why do you have a company that is so deeply involved with like mass murder of people? Allowed to have like the control of a company that owns all the food patents in the world, like Monsanto, that owns like over almost 200 different patents of different foods, and Bayer owns this Monsanto, and then that was part of IG Farm, and they own the food patents, and they were actually responsible for concentration camp stuff. Like, I can't even believe it. Why do you why do you allow these people to control your food supply?
the best democracy money can buy.
Yeah, it sounds well.
The corporations run the show. It's just like just more and more obvious all the time. They do whatever they want. They're like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. They can kill people. There's just a trail of dead bodies. They do whatever they want and they get away with it.
No one is asking why there is so much cancer resulting from Monsanto products and stuff. Like, why they don't care about it. Realizing the history of these people. Like,
Um,
what
They're gonna
are,
sell
what
it.
are we?
They're going to sell their products one way or the other.
Yeah.
Well, certain groups are. They just have too much control. They can always buy a senator off or get into committees or whatever they got to do to make stuff happen. I mean, you look at like donor lists of Democratic Party or Republican RNC and all that. It's the same folks all the time. Same people with money doing it every time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I never thought that there'd be a evil merger of companies, but they really fooled me when they merged Bayer with Monsanto. I mean, is there any other companies in the world that could have a more evil merger than Bayer and Monsanto? Anybody?
Not really.
Let me think.
The largest
I don't think
competitor of
so.
Monsanto. The largest patent competitor of Monsanto is Syngenta, and Syngenta works together with the Bill Gates Foundation, and Bill Gates Foundation is all about birth control in third world countries, reducing birth rates, for example.
He's running a chemtrailing experiment too, isn't he? Like principal investigator for like this chemtrail program. When you dig through the paperwork, you're like, holy shit.
Wait, what?
They've got somewhere. Now I've heard. I don't know. I don't have the document, but it's like I've heard that it's like Bill Gates is the principal investigator of the program, the chemtrailing program that goes on.
Why Bill Gates?
Interesting. I could probably find that if you give me more information on it.
Well, that would have meant I find it.
No, I do read it now already. No, it is actually Bill Gates backs climate scientists for large scale chemtrails. This is weird. I have this is from the Guardian even. This is large-scale geoengineering. Other wealthy individuals have also funded a series of reports into the future use of technologies to geoengineer the climate. That's interesting. It's actually a plan B for climate change.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a climate change, all right. When they quit spraying that aluminum crap they've been spraying, and
aluminum
and they
oxide.
they put into the raid the real shit they're gonna spray on you. Yeah, it's gonna change.
Sodium, barium, aluminum oxide. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they.
Something that they're spraying on all of us.
According to the latest Pfizer accounts, 2 scientists have so far given 300,000 of Gates money to fund 3 prominent reviews and assessments of geoengineering. UK Royal Society report on solar radiation management, US Task Force on Geoengineering, and another science think tank based in Santa Barbara, California. Interesting.
Yeah, they got all the paperwork, but that's a conspiracy theory, right? We're not supposed to talk about it. Are you going to get us in trouble because you found the paperwork? Damn it.
Possibly.
I'm taking it from the Guardian. It should be safe. It's like mainstream these days. So.
Well, the new trick will be to put out an article like that, which will be truthful, but if you read it, it'll be your fault.
Oh yeah.
They're covered, but if you read it, you're the bad guy.
Dot police. Got about. So,
And it won't be entrapment because you were looking for news. It's your fault.
Yeah. I see a Captain Planet jumping in at the right time.
Is he here?
Is he here?
He jumped here in the Discord now, Captain Planet.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, let me see.
What's the big god over there? The big kahuna?
Did you guys ever watch Captain Planet, that cartoon?
Yeah, in the 90s.
Are we talking about Captain Planet cartoon?
Yeah.
That guy who takes pollution down to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is
really?
that guy?
He's in Mauna Kea.
I thought he was. I thought he was in like somewhere Hawaii. I saw
Hawaii.
a interview. Yeah.
Oh, the real Captain Planet is. Yeah, our Captain Planet.
Yeah, he's ours. We claim that name.
I'm pretty sure that he is the real Captain Planet. Am I wrong?
Oh yes, he is.
Could be.
We took the name back from these assholes.
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
Yeah, you know what? You'd be a threat to like every big guy in the world. They would have to come try to kill you. I mean, they're just not going to let that go.
Well, I mean, he would have superpowers, so he would kill them.
Well, he better because they're going to be coming. Yeah.
I hope so.
You know, the best part of that show was seeing Captain Planet go after like oil execs.
Yeah, because if he's just bluffing it, it's all a bunch of shit. Well, he's going to end up dead. You know?
Yeah, I remember that was like one of the few cartoon kids shows that tried to go after like pollution and shit. That was like out of the norm back in the 90s. You know, it was a little out there. Besides Ferngully and all that shit, there was like a little trend that was going on there for a minute.
Well, you were still
sure.
watching G.I. Joe too. You know, you were all gung ho American. They were, coming out of the flames, man, waving the flag. Fuck, I mean.
Yeah.
Now they're actually putting, that was just, they were trying to give you the message. But, people are kind of slow, man, even when you throw it in their face. Oh, yeah, man, I remember that.
I remember I
you
used to get their fucking toys in like Burger King and McDonald's and shit. Like, I'd be like, oh, yeah, we're getting Captain Planet toys, but like, wasn't it producing waste to put it in McDonald's toys? Guys, just saying.
It's like the opposite of what it's supposed to be about. Are you
Yeah.
sure it wasn't like a training program for all of us? Now we're adults and now we're all trained up by Captain Planet.
No, they got him good because he was chewing on the plastic, which had the lead paint on it. He's all fucked up. They got him from day one.
True.
I'm going to hell. going to hell.
On that note, I'm gonna jump off, guys.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it's getting pretty late. I gotta get up early tomorrow.
All right. Good night.
Good night. We'll,
Have a good night.
hours.
You have to go to your corporate masters in the morning.
No, not corporate masters. I just got plans tomorrow.
I gotcha. I don't know if I have any. I don't know if I have another hour of content. Let me see.
That's never stopped us before.
Yeah. We have the Hong Kong protests. Those are still going on. This is we're seeing a real standoff between a colony and Hong Kong, or former British colony, and what we will expect China to do in the future. I do expect an invasion, which has been going on the sidelines. But I don't see the protests ending anytime soon.
I think the PLA is in the region already. Like
Yeah, they are.
People
They
Liberation
already
Army.
are. Yeah, they already have troops in there. Yep.
They sent in the triad gangs like weeks ago.
Well, I don't know how that's going to end, but all I do know is that if they keep on protesting, China will not do an invasion. They will not do an invasion while everybody's watching. They got that going for them.
You think so?
I really don't think so. I mean, they didn't. Well, when Tiananmen Square went on, that all of from what I remember from the history books, that wasn't televised. It happened, the massacre happened, but it wasn't televised. I don't think that they will invade as long as they're still protesting. but I could be wrong. You know.
Well, man, if they got the numbers, which they do,
Yeah.
I mean, if this doesn't work, it's gonna show you that numbers aren't the solution.
Oh yeah, it's the Chinese government. It's a communist government. We have no idea how they will react.
Yeah, I think they're in trouble.
Depends on who lasts the longest. Like you can see the Yellow Fest in France. It goes on and on, but they're still not being listened to in that.
Yeah,
But,
Macron's still the president. It's like whatever.
Yeah, it depends on who has the longest.
Oh, Terrence is trying to get in.
Yeah, I see. He
He
keeps
doesn't
joining
realize
him.
he's in the channel. Here we go.
Yeah. No, it's Yellowfest, and slowly they're like being taken apart too. It is already partly taken over by the wrong groups with totally different goals. And,
Is it really? Yeah, I haven't seen much videos. It seemed like it's dying off.
yeah, like there are some hardcores left, but like the first demands, like some groups are already changing the demands. Like they're completely infiltrating these movements. So yeah. The hardcores are still there, but not sure if they still have the largest voice.
Let me tag.
One of their main demands was like a Frexit, right? To get like out of the EU, literally. And now they kind of like dropped the whole Frexit thing already. It's like less than 1% still. Yeah, I see him too, Tyler. But
I see him, but I don't think. I think he's on the mountain somewhere. I'm not sure if he has like a real good connection.
Got enough to do hangouts.
Mauna Kea. I really don't know what kind of cell phone coverage you'll be at. It's 5 minutes until 4:20. So what else can I talk about until he gets here? Yeah, Russia's on fire. The majority of Siberia is on fire. In fact, it's the fires are so big in Siberia that it's the size of France.
Not really.
Yeah.
That sounded like Captain Planet.
Terrence, how are you?
I am here, way up at the top of Mauna Kea.
How are
I am on the highest peak in the world, from the bottom of the ocean to the very top of the mountain. Although Mount Everest gets the tallest mountain in the world spot a lot, it's actually this mountain that is the tallest mountain in the world. I think it's twice the size of Everest.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it is absolutely. It's so high up here, man. Like you can't. The air's real thin. When you're at the very, very top of the mountain, you really start having those breathing problems, and there's just no air up here, man. It's 14,000 feet.
Oh yeah, Mauna Kea. You guys are up there.
Yeah, I think we're at the 6,000 or 7,000 feet mark. So we still catch. When you guys see the videos and stuff here, that's not fog. We are so high, we're actually in the clouds.
So are they gonna build the new observatory or not?
No.
No.
Fuck no, they ain't gonna build it.
All right.
That's why we're here. But just to give everybody a quick update, I mean, there's been a lot of like weird news stories come out and all of that. There's a lot of similarities to Standing Rock. But
you know what's really weird is I have a friend who's in Haleo, and she doesn't even know the shit's going on in Mauna Kea.
Yeah, it doesn't get any media coverage. I think other than us here, I haven't seen any of the larger news agencies here. None. No ABC, no NBC,
she had no
nobody.
idea that there were people protesting on the mountain.
I only see it on Democracy Now. They've had a few articles, but that's it.
Yeah, there's been zero coverage. I mean, how many times have we, as Anonymous Bites Back, how many times have we been the only people here covering what's actually going on in the world?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. This is another one of those situations. I know we've given out a couple of other interviews on the way. I know as we urge law enforcement again to
Being gold or
you
something.
know, as always, you have an opportunity. A lot of the guys up here are indigenous. Look, turn your back on the corporate fascism, guys. Stand with the people. And I will say a lot of them are. We have I haven't made contact with any mercenaries. I'm sure they're around. Tiger Swan's always around. If there's people to oppress, right? Tiger Swan is there. But they're not being infiltrated by outside forces. We haven't seen the FBI, CIA. They're not targeting elders and beating people and all of that. They've been handing out a shitload of tickets is really what we've seen. Is they've tried to deter people by handing out, like, your tires are too big or your registration, to try to deter people. But it's been completely different than other protests that we've been to like this, where we've blocked the road. No attack dogs so far. They did bring out an MRAT, but they didn't end up using it. It's just
you're
like
a little
nobody.
safer because it's not an oil pipeline, because that's like, country infrastructure. That's the way they look at that. So I can see kind of how you get marks on that one, but
they
a
haven't
telescope.
been able to use the special terrorism word that allows them to violate your rights without any consequence. So, just so that people know and that are listening, this protest is 100%, and I would like to repeat this: 100% non-violent. So if you hear them, they need buildups and they need all of that, you need to ask them right away why. Right? You've got a bunch of people that are praying underneath the mountain. Why do you need attack dogs and attack helicopters? Right? Like, you need to start asking those questions. But because things have been, it is Hawaii, man, so it is a little bit more chilled. Because things have been a little chilled, we are trying everything we can to get the police. We understand you got a job to do. Keep the road safe. Do your fucking thing, right? But at the end of the day, you stand with the people, not some fucking heartless corporation. To get into some of the, like, realness behind this is like some weird. This whole project with this telescope is some weird dick measuring contest with the U.S. government. So the Canary Islands, several other countries, several other places have said, look, just put the telescope here.
Yeah.
But because America wants to say that they have the largest telescope in the world by 1 foot, right? They feel the need to destroy a sacred mountain. And not just like, you could say that it was, sacred to one people. This sacred mountain is sacred to all of us. This is like the beginning of humanity, right? This is our movement across the world. We got piglets coming up on us. Sorry, guys.
Oops.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I don't know why they'd be walking around. And this is the kind of thing. So,
It's
right
like 4
here,
o'clock in the morning over there, right?
No. We're only at about 6:20 right now. And if you look at the difference between Standing Rock, right now, I got a cop walking by us, one guy, right? Pretty much, hands out of his, off of his gun, just kind of walking down the street, checking down the thing. He's not harassing anybody. He's not beating anybody. He's checking to make sure that there's nobody that could fall off at the end. But compared to fucking Standing Rock, I would be eating tear gas right now. And this guy, like, is looking at me as we're talking about them. Yeah, man, I'm talking to you. I'm talking about you, right? I'm talking about you. But that's exactly what's going on. We got another one here, but you see, they're not posting up. He's got your standard body armor on. He's not in full riot gear. He's not. Yeah, sorry, brother. I got to tell the news. They're not beating up on us. They're not hurting us. Besides giving us some, dirty looks here and there, which is fine. Right? It's so different than some of the other things. And, we try to make it every opportunity to tell them, look, stand with the people. I didn't quite realize they had my tent surrounded while we were talking, but whatever. I
So
may
how
have
are
just
the
talked myself out of an ass whooping, guys.
Yeah, we'll catch it live.
Yeah. That's one of the things too. We're live. We had, they tried to rouse some elders the other day. Same thing, parking tickets, stuff like that. But this is sovereign land. This is tribal land. This is over like a long history. So a lot of those authorities that they have on the street that goes next to us, they do not have on this land. And that those things come to head when they try to attack leadership, and leadership is on what you guys would refer to as royal land, tribal land, indigenous lands. So they got to be
they have no
federales to do
jurisdiction
that.
there.
Yeah, they got to be federales, or you got to be doing something for real. But they can't rouse leadership on on native lands just because. And the only reason that stopped was because we happened to be giving, if you guys watched the interview that we gave yesterday, we literally had to stop the interview, run outside and start recording to kind of keep everybody in check. Because as long as those cameras are going, they stay a little bit, they mind the cues a little bit more than they would normally. It's definitely a tool that we have. So they're coming back now. Just kind of laughing and talking. Like I said, they're not in riot gear, they don't have their hands on their weapons. They're just kind of checking their thing. But compared to oil pipelines, like I said, I would be eating tear gas right now. I'll take a picture. But that's what these pipelines are, and we have to stay strong, we have to stay vigilant, and we have to stay completely and utterly nonviolent. Our opponents understand violence. The one thing that we can never do is be violent. That's the only thing that they understand. So if we use anything else, anything, prayer, resistance, anything else other than violence, they have no idea how to deal with it. No idea.
Exactly. That's it. I shared from your Twitter, Terrence, before, like earlier today. It was you had like an interview at like Aloha Radio in Hawaii.
Yeah, and that's a pirate radio station here. I urge people to share it out, to try to find it online. That's Aloha Radio. We actually, the other water protectors here, when they saw the cops around my tent, they launched all the drones, so you guys can hear the drones over our tent now. But these are the tools that we have to use to fight back. I'm not sure if you can hear those the drones, but the other water protectors, when they saw the other earth protectors, when they saw the popos around our tent, they sent up the drones to make sure everything was groovy. Just part of the game. But we've been giving out interviewing everybody we can, just trying to get the word out, as we do with all of these issues. Whether you agree with the telescope or don't agree with the telescope, there comes a time when you need to stand with the people, and this is one of those times. I am going to have to cut it short, but as I was saying before, this telescope could be put in plenty of other places. In fact, there's scientists that have came out now in the astronomy community that have spoken out about it. There are plenty of pieces, but these few handful of scientists and government agents cannot cannot deal with the fact that another country might have a bigger telescope than you. And in this case, they're saying you can put your telescope anywhere you want, guys. We'll share it's science. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
What
About Alaska, dude? Like out in the middle of nowhere.
No, there's plenty of places. Launch that motherfucker in space. But the point is, it's 2019. You cannot blow up our secret mountains to put in an optical telescope. An optical telescope to see into the universe. It's a big-ass optical telescope, but when you put it towards things like radio telescopes, where we can see the moment of the Big Bang, that is something that is not attainable with an optical telescope.
That's true.
Right? This is old-ass technology that they're trying to push on us, and for no other reason than because it's big. No other. It's a really weird. As soon as you get into it, it is really this weird, like, dick measuring contest between us and Europe, and it's like the universe is infinite. You're scared that Europe is going to see something in space before you are? That makes no sense. Or do you think they're going to hoard it? Oh, there's a planet, millions of light years away. We don't want America to see it. Like, what the fuck does that mean? What are you planning on seeing in the universe that you can't share? This is fucking astronomy, right? You're not trying to break you're not trying to crack the nuclear bomb here. This is looking into the universe. We share all of that information.
Man, this
Trust
is
me,
future.
if
Oh,
Europe
man.
looks up and there's aliens on their way, right? They're going to tell us. Look, the French aren't going to stop them.
No, this is the future of exopolitics. Is, who found the planet, who gets to claim it.
Oh, that may be
It-
part of it. That you feel that if you saw it through your optical telescope, that it's you somehow own a planet on the other side of the universe.
you name it, you stick your flag on it.
Well, we'll beat them to the punch. That we're putting it out on live now on the internet. All celestial bodies are now owned by Anonymous, and we are not for sale. So don't even worry about renting out the moon. Don't worry about we own it all, right? You just have to say it. Is that how that works?
Well, that's the first part. You now have to defend your claim. That's the difficult part.
I've talked to the aliens, man. They tell me as soon as they show up, they assure me they will kick you square in the nuts. But look, guys, like we are here. There are quite a few protesters. I'm not going to give out exact numbers here, but we normally range above 500 to 700 on a slow day. On some of the bigger days, we are up into the thousands. So we aren't going anywhere. My advice to the people in charge: A, go fuck yourself, and B, put this telescope somewhere else. Anywhere you like. Call Elon Musk right now. $44 million. I will launch whatever the fuck you want into space.
Hey, if he can launch whatever car that was that a Viper he launched? He can do a space telescope.
Yeah. I thought he launched a Tesla Roadster or something.
Yeah, and then it missed Mars, if I heard right. So I mean, that wasn't exactly the talking point they were looking for, but.
Look, the thing is, this is not. It's not rocket science. It's astronomy. Right? The fact that you can put this telescope in plenty of other places, but your ego is getting in the way, right? Those are not legitimate excuses for me. If you guys can hear right now, they are. I'm not sure if you guys can hear in the background the haka that's going on. They're doing the nightly rituals, the end of the day rituals on the line, which I probably should be at, but I want to make sure that we get as much information as we can out. And I realize there's some other stuff on the show that we have to go over as well. As far as what Anonymous is doing here, which is some of the questions that we've got before. Our goal is to get their communications up. We're installing some cell phone boosters and some repeaters and some other things so that they cannot shut down the camp's communications, so we can continue to live stream like we're doing now. I've got a small booster that I use, but we're making one that's big enough for the entire camp, all 10,000 people, or 10,000 users, that we would be able to get secure communications that they won't be able to turn off. And we'll also be installing a set of wind turbines up here that should be able to power most of the camp. So that is our goals as ABB to defend and stand with the people here. I'm not going to say the GoFundMes and all of that stuff. I think the people that are interested know where to find us, know what we're about, and know how to contact us and organize with us. But if you are interested in those programs, if you are interested in helping out, feel free to contact any of the hosts of ABB, and it will get to where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I normally I like it's difficult to keep connection up here.
Well, yeah,
until we
you're
get
on a
these
mountain.
boosters up. And like I'm doing everything we can here to try to lower the latency and keep broadcasting. But please share our stuff out, share ABB stuff out. There are very few organizations out there whose number one goal is to speak the truth. We have to support those people, the people that are in those positions and that are doing the hard work and getting the word out. There's a lot of blowback from all sorts of entities with nefarious ideas that are trying to stop us. So we have to stay united in these moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody in the comments? Does anybody have questions?
Oh, I haven't even been monitoring the comments. John, are you monitoring that?
For now, I don't see any questions, but I did share your part earlier, Terrence, when you were at Aloha radio thing, and there were a lot of responses below that.
And
Sorry.
I need to go by and go through and answer some of those as well here in the next day or so. And I'll try to give everybody the lowdown. We are going to do some drone flyovers and some other stuff so people can see what we're protecting and what they should be protecting as well, even if you can't come here. You know, like I said in the very beginning, this mountain specifically, although it is rooted so deeply in Hawaiian culture, this is rooted in all of our culture. You know, this is the moment, this is the place where the land touches the sky, literally. And, you know, this is the place where new earth is formed. This is the place where renewal is formed. And I mean, literally, this is where the magma boils out of the earth, right? We're on a volcano. We're on an active volcano on the lava fields right now. This is something that really does affect all of us. And it's one of those things, you know, once they start digging up your grandparents to put their businesses on, it never stops there, right? You'll never be able to go back to that burial ground. You never are, right? First they put up the whatever thing they're going to put up, then they put the fences up, right? Then, you know, now you know your family has been worshiping at the same place for 1,000 years, and now you can't go there because I've got to tell us. Right. And by the way, your community doesn't get any of the benefits from it. Right. We're going to hire scientists from other parts of the world to come in. Right. None of the benefits of this will go to you or your community. Right. Only your history, only your family, only your ancestors. Right. Will be affected. And it's time that we say enough. Right. You want to put a brand new telescope somewhere? Put it in the Vatican. Right. Put it on one of your churches. Put it on one of your burial grounds. Right. Put it on one of your sacred sites. Right? You want a giant telescope? Put it on fucking Stonehenge, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're looking at. For some reason, people don't realize that when someone says this is an ancient burial site, my grandfather is buried there. You heard what I'm saying? The same way as your grandfather is buried somewhere, and you would be just as upset if they dug up your grandfather's bones, chucked them over to the side so they could build a strip mall.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Bob 2.0 in the chat here, he says that we all wish Terrence the very best and that you should stay safe.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And, you know, it definitely, you know, everything that we do has to do with our support. You know, I'm here because of my brothers and sisters in Anonymous, my brothers and sisters in the indigenous movement, and the revolution in general. But I'm not here by myself, right? You know, that's not how Anon works, and that's not how any of this works. I'm able to do all of this stuff because we stand united, because we have your support, because you guys share it out, because you won't let the truth die, right? Not because I'm just putting myself there to be that to be there in the moment. But everything that I do has to do with unity, or it won't work. One person can't do it by themselves, and I think that everything that I'm do, I try to exemplify that. Right? I am no more important than the person that shares one of our videos one time, than the person that stands in the line and corrects somebody, right, that's supporting fascism, that's supporting oppression, that supported corporatism and capitalism, right, and gutless capitalism at that. I'm no more important than that person is. And that's always a thing to see. On top of it, we're also Anons. We like the danger. Come on, it's fun. You're telling me we got to climb up to the top of the world to spit in the man's eye? Yeah, I'll do that.
You're literally on the highest. You're literally on the highest mountain in the world, fighting the most corrupt people in the world.
Yeah, it is. It does have that moment. I mean, you are inspired when you come up here for those kind of those kind of moments. This is as high as we can fight up. We're fighting up where the angels fight. We're literally fighting demons in heaven at this moment.
Yeah, that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's I agree and am amazed that people you're far away. You know what I mean? But yet it still touches you. It still connects with you. It still reverberates. You see the same tactics and people and oppression being used on your people, on people all over the world. And it's so inspiring for me that people see it and support what we're doing. You know, him commenting in the comments, you know, stay safe. That means that not only are they watching, but they care. They care about what happens to you, right? They want you to be in the struggle. They want this to end, but that somebody that, you know, hasn't even met you in person, or maybe has, we're anons, right? But doesn't, you know what I mean? But still supports you. And whether they support what you're doing at that moment or not, they care enough to want you to be safe, right?
Yeah.
To want to that nothing, you know, bad happens to you, that there isn't violence used against you. And that brings me hope. That brings me real hope. Doesn't take a lot to inspire me, guys, right? Small spark and I'll burn this motherfucker down. So yes, please share this out. I know we've got some other things that are going to be talked about on the show tonight. Some really important stuff. Man, the Russians accidentally blew up a nuke, right?
Yeah.
Siberia is on fire. Brazil is on fire. You know, the Epstein. Oh goodness, I don't know how to. Can we put, like, is there such thing as sky quotation marks? You know what I mean? Like his suicide. Right? There are some real important things going on that are going to be covered in this show that you are not going to hear anywhere else because they're scared to speak the truth, right? And nobody on this panel, nobody on this show is scared to speak the truth, whether you like it or not, whether we like it or not, right? We say things on here that, fuck, I would have liked it to go the other way, but that's not the truth, and that's not what we work in. So, I mean, I do ask, I do have to take off, guys. I'm not going to be able to keep this connection itself up. We will get a stable connection up, but, you know, please support what's going on here. You know, I do so much of what we do because of the support of the brothers on this show, and how much they're willing to stand with us. The people that are on the panel here, are willing to speak out in what dangers they put themselves in by speaking out about them. Right, the fact that the corporate media doesn't have the stones to speak the truth about Epstein is out of fear. We don't have that fear. You're a child molester. We don't give a fuck, right? And that's not something that you're going to get from anywhere else. Is the truth.
No, you're right. I do have one message for you, and that is like, if something like happens, like something urgent, like if there's trouble or whatever, then we can go live like instantly. Just let it know, and then we go live with it. And we
And that is, I
we'll
mean,
just stream it.
I kind of, you know, I kind of expected that, you know, that's what we're here for. But it does, they were, you know, we heard over the comms, over the police when they found out that there were anonymous members here. And I will tell everyone that's listening, there was fear in their voice. And that's good. That's a good thing, right? When they're all, when they, you know, when they look at it and they think, the jig is up. Right, like we're not going to be able to get away with the things that we wanted to get away from, because the people will see it. And people like Anon, right? People like Anons, they don't care if you hate them for showing the truth. Right? We've been hated by so many different groups over so long period of times. You know, it gets to a point when if you're, you know, one of the groups that's against Anons and what they're doing, stand in line.
Yeah.
Don't worry, man. I know you think you're hard shit now, but even people like the QAnons, it's one of those things like, we'll be here before you, we'll be here after you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we've seen your kind come and go, right? Not worried about it, and it doesn't affect our focus and one single goal of exposing the corruption that's destroying our planet.
Yeah, we did quite a bit of Q bashing already.
Oh, we do. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was late to the party. I kick him in the ribs a couple of times on the way
No.
by. It's fine.
No, you're good for. Yeah, you deserve a few good rips there.
It's going to become important, guys. Like, you know, for those people that are on this the QAnon, you know, bandwagon, it's going to become real here, right? When you blindly follow the corrupt people that got you into this situation. Watch what happens, man. That's all I can say. They're always the people that are shocked, right? When the boot comes down on their neck, right? They're the ones that are always shocked. Well, how dare you? Yeah, right. You didn't say shit when we took your rights, right? We took everybody's rights around you. You didn't say shit. Now we're coming for you, dumbass. You should have stood up for your fucking neighbors, right? When we were kicking in their door, you should have said something. Now we're kicking in your door. And that's normally how it works, right? They came for my neighbors. I said nothing. They came for my neighbors. I said nothing. Now they're coming for me.
I just hope
And
there's no irony here, and the guy that kicks down my door has a big Q on his shirt. You know,
Oh, God. I just laugh.
Ugh.
Follow. Do not question leadership. They know what they're doing, guys. If there's anything that history has told us overwhelming, I'm going to go now. But if there's anything that history has told us is the leadership, boy, do they know what they're doing. Right? Go outside and take a big drink of water, right? And tell me if your leadership knows what the fuck they're doing. Right? And we can look throughout history. We can look through present time. We can look about what the future is going to look like if we don't do anything. But if there is one thing that we can be sure of, these guys have no idea what they're doing. No idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's time to get rid of those kind of worthless, corrupt, and I'm going to say stupid politicians.
Well, I think I was saying earlier, you have to get in their craven, psychopathic mind to figure out how this makes sense.
Oh, I think, it's hard. It's hard to get into that mindset, when you think, especially, you and I, Preston, we get into civil rights and what your rights are as an American, what your rights are as a global citizen, as a part of, a human on this world. And this constant taking and degradation of our rights, right, is slowly but surely destroying, giving them the power to destroy us all. One thing at a time. You don't say anything about them taking this right. You don't say anything about them taking those people's rights. And then at the end of the day, they've taken your rights while they were doing it. They always, always, always do.
Yeah, it's always the same game with them. They want control. They're going to fuck you over. If you just look at it from that angle, you know where they're coming from.
But you can't, I can't, when I go into things, even if I don't agree with you on something, right? I know those are your rights, right? And when they do it, right? When they go through, I can't put myself in that mindset. I can't put myself in the set where I'm going to sit down and think about ways to take away people's rights. That makes no sense to me. We're trying to think of ways to make sure that you keep your rights, right? That those stay forever. Where these people, I can't get into that oppressive mindset. I can't. It just doesn't. It's any more than you can try to figure out a serial killer and not be a serial killer. It just doesn't make sense that someone would act that way. Would turn on their people. None of that makes sense to me. Does my head in sometimes.
You got to be a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's the only way. I mean, anybody with any self-respect or dignity,
around it. You got to be just absolute trash. All right, guys, I will be probably back on for the Sunday show if the shit does hit the fan. There's always the possibility of raids and stuff coming on. ABB will be your source to find out what is going on in the ground. So please keep aware. There's other things that are going on in the world that are going to also be your spot to pick up that kind of information. But keep posted and tuned to what's going on. The world is going through some changes. And you're going to need all the information that you can to be able to deal with those changes.
All right, very good.
Yeah, I will talk to you guys. Please, for our listeners, there's going to be some great shit in this episode. So I got to see the back end notes, so I know there's going to be some real truth spit tonight. So please, please, please keep tuned in. Same bat time, same bat station.
All right.
Stay safe,
All right, brothers. I'll
guys.
talk to you soon.
Yeah, I kind of did want to talk about the whole Russia detonating nuclear bombs on accident.
Yeah. So they said it was like a weapon that could reach the entire planet, right? Like a
Yeah,
nuclear weapon.
it was beyond an ICBM. Yeah, it was. I believe they have these missiles that go. They go up into the upper. The warhead goes into the upper atmosphere, and relieves itself from the what is it called? The booster, and it has these gyros on it that are air jets and can re-enter it into the atmosphere. Therefore, only the warhead is left. But yeah, these things go up into space and then land wherever the fuck they're gonna land. But that's essentially what blew up in Russia.
Yeah, it has to fail like every now and then. I mean,
It was a tactical nuclear explosion. So these aren't like Hiroshima kind of things. These are like something that you use to take out part of a large city. You know.
yeah. The thing is, if you're testing like the missile system, why would you actually do it with like a loaded missile? I don't get that.
I don't know either. Oh, 5 science. Why am I laughing that people are dead? This is bad. I'm just like, how do you accidentally blow up a nuclear bomb? Like, how does that happen?
Because you didn't do something right.
I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, in most, Preston, you're ex-military, right?
No.
No.
Engineering.
But you're familiar with weapon systems, right?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah. So most rockets and missiles, the nuclear warhead, you can take it off from the actual thing. So it shouldn't, like, I don't think that those systems, if they were testing it out, why would those systems be together already? Like, you'd think that they wouldn't put it on until they were ready to test it, right?
Well, you got to try the finished weapon at some point. I mean, you got to get it together and fire it, And
That's true.
if it don't work right, well,
I just I mean, it was obvious to me looking at it that it was definitely like I can't you obviously okay, you obviously can't tell that it looks like a nuclear explosion from the explosion. I mean, initially because we don't have the gamma radiation detectors, alpha particles, beta particles, yada yada yada. But the radiation monitoring sites that we have both in space and all over the world detected high amounts of gamma radiation around then, and then Russia denied it for 2 weeks. The same thing they did in Chernobyl. They denied it.
yeah, they have a different way of denying things than we do. It's still bullshit.
They evacuated
and propaganda and denial, but they have a little
14,000
different
people.
way of putting the scheme together.
They evacuated 14,000 people. They were encouraging people to take potassium iodide, which does absolutely nothing to if you are exposed to gamma radiation and you're taking potassium iodide, that's like putting wrapping yourself up in tinfoil during a nuclear explosion. It's not going to help you very much. You know what I'm saying?
No. Technically, it protects you only from like
thyroid cancer. That's it.
anything like your bloodstream or whatever. Yeah,
That's
yeah. Like your skin is still like fully exposed to everything and all these other parts.
Yeah, you'd be better off walking around in a lead suit.
Yeah, exactly. This is so weird.
Yeah, and even the thing is, like, even metals, heavy metals soak up radiation. So even if you had a lead suit and you were exposed to the radiation, it would be filled with radiation to the point where you couldn't use it. So, I mean, most of these are just gimmicks when they talk about radiation, how to survive a nuclear explosion with metals and putting potassium iodide in your body. These are just gimmicks. They really don't help you at all.
Well, look at that shit they used to tell you in the 50s, like duck and cover.
Oh, yeah, duck and cover.
Get under
I
your
remember
desk.
that. Yeah, in the late 80s. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember
like,
that duck and cover.
on.
It's like ducking and covering is going to help you against a fucking nuclear weapon. Like.
I remember
that
that
illusion that you can do something about it right before you die.
It's like, yeah, you die. You didn't duck and cover enough.
Yeah. Hey kids, if you rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic, it won't sink. Yeah.
But Yeah, that was definitely what we would consider a nuclear explosion.
What
And
about seismology? Was it like also like
I don't know, but
seismology?
I am flying to a country in the next month that will be exposed to there, so I will be exposing myself to gamma radiation. I'm going to a former Soviet country. So I don't know, guys. I'll bring my Geiger counter with you and see how much cancer I get.
Yeah, you're headed over that way. You better watch
Yeah,
out.
yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure that didn't knock off the price I paid for that ticket.
No, it's all everything is safe. I mean,
Everything's safe, right?
yeah.
Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, everything's fine. Yeah, everything's fine. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, about the nuclear stuff. I posted something like earlier this week. It was about these Marshall Islands where they did this testing, like nuclear weapon testing. The Americans, like in the
Yeah,
1950s, this was.
you
And it
want
was
to
like they had like
go ahead?
yeah. So there are these two huge craters, and one of them they covered with like a huge concrete thing, but that seems to be leaking now.
Yeah,
And it
you want
seems
to
to
hear
be
something funny? So a little bit of cartoon humor mixed with nuclear humor. So you guys remember SpongeBob SquarePants, right? SpongeBob, right? The cartoon guy, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, Bikini Bottom, right? Bikini Islands is where they tested all the nuclear bombs in the Bikini Island. They blew it up. It's all these weird creatures under the sea. Never mind. It's
So that's
it's
why
SpongeBob
even like
humor.
sponges. So that's why even like sponges come alive and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense.
Well, that was the theory behind SpongeBob. When me and my friends were smoking a lot of marijuana, we were like, "Well, yeah, SpongeBob is really just part of that nuclear bomb test."
Oh my god, it could be actually legit too.
Oh God. But no, but for real, they the United States military really did fuck up a ton of islands researching nuclear bombs before we started burying them, and then we realized after doing that for a few decades that wasn't healthy either for the environment.
Yeah, you know how bad it is. So they say it's like leaking now, right? But the Americans, that guy, these scientists, they actually say it doesn't even matter if it leaks because it's already radiated the entire region. So even if it all like collapses, it won't even make much of a difference for the local nature. Like,
I
oh
think
my
the ones that
god.
they detonated in New Mexico and in Nevada, the ones that they're still feeling the effects of some of that shit.
Shock this. Like, and why do you need to do so much nuclear testing? Even like, what the fuck is going on with you?
Yeah, you're basically doing what a star does when it's at the end of its life. I don't think this is safe on a planetary object. It's like, come on, guys, you only have one planet to live on so far. Do you want to reduce that to 0?
Yeah. I don't hear much about Fukushima either anymore.
Yeah, you don't, but it's still leaking too. And
Yeah.
be honest with you, like I'm not opposed to dumping it down to the bottom of the ocean, mainly because, and this is just putting it out there. This is just it would be more habitable for it to be where it can't hurt many object or many creatures which would be under the sea, even though the radiation will leak out into the water, yada yada yada. I get it, but it would be so far down that it can be suppressed, you know.
Yeah. Like it would be an idea, like, but can't we just shoot it like into space with that?
Well, that's what that was that's
Russian
another
missile?
theory. Yeah. I remember a few Superman movies ended that way, where they're throwing nuclear bombs into the sun. That's another way to get rid of them. But unfortunately, getting rid of a nuclear mess, that's what's kind of required to get rid of it. You either bury it or you launch it into the fucking sky, and we haven't been able to do one or the other. But that's essentially what you would do to get rid of it, because nuclear radiation, as far as mammals and most creatures on the Earth are concerned, we can't survive gamma radiation or any other kind of radiation besides alpha and beta particles. We cook and our DNA rips apart like little pieces of paper when gamma radiation's jammed through it.
Yeah.
They were even there were even discussions when plutonium was first being refined on an industrial level. These kind of conversations came up, like how dangerous is plutonium when it comes to mankind, because plutonium is not inherently natural to all of the elements that are here on Earth. In fact, it's unnatural. Mainly only in I think microns or micrograms that this stuff has been available, but not to the point where we've made nuclear weapons out of. So man has literally evolved without the inherent danger of gamma radiation and nuclear explosions. Well, I mean, besides the creation of the universe, creation of our solar system and the universe, but and some supernovas that had happened throughout the last. Well, we saw one about 10 years ago, but other than that, we don't really see too much natural gamma radiation. Besides what our sun pumps out. I don't understand how nuclear testing can make anything better.
No, but they were like obsessed with mass destruction, so they weren't even thinking about safety of themselves.
No, remember they wanted to blow up the atmosphere at one point.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm just like a practical person, right? And we talk like about Elon Musk launching like a car into space. Why doesn't he just launch? His stuff into
As
space
much
then?
as I like Elon Musk, there's problems there too, and they're starting. The astronomy community is starting to say this, and this is something that has been the United States Air Force. As much as I hate, governing agencies, United States Air Force has said this for a while, along with the people who, the normal astronomers that have been around. Well, astronomers have been saying this for a while. Is that the pollution of the shit that is up there? It's literally becoming. There's like a swirling garbage, literally, around the world from all of this shit, and they're starting to think of like garbage disposals up in the sky. So they would have this satellite with an arm that would push the satellites that they don't need back into the atmosphere to burn them up, and that's what we need. We need to start cleaning up the space pollution. Believe it or not, that's a real thing now.
Well, that'll be the first job for the Space Force. They clean this shit up.
Well, actually, that's the USAF. That's what they do right now. They've been doing that for the last 50 years. Is they monitor all satellite all objects that orbit the Earth, and that's what they've been doing before the creation of space. I was gonna say Space Camp, Space Force. But
we should all strive to be cadets in the new Space Force.
I guess that I guess in the future there's gonna be a need for this kind of shit. The astronomers that are here for the Earthbound telescopes, they're saying that they're having problems looking at objects in the sky because there's so much shit that is swirling up above on top that these Earthbound telescopes are becoming more and more obsolete, that they need to go to a space telescopes because of all of this interference with the light, because there's shit just swirling above the Earth.
I kind of look at that like plastic in the Pacific Ocean. It's
Yeah.
like you create the problem and then you have to come way to clean it all up after you've essentially made an industrial toilet out of it. And
Well, now we have swirling, floating objects of decaying satellites up there. Some of them are perfectly functional, and they don't even use them. You know.
well, you know how these bureaucrats are. It's like an old, like an old car. You just trade it in. It's not that it wasn't working. You just want a new one.
Well, remember I told you about that a few weeks ago. I told you guys about that satellite that was in the 90, 95, 96. It was supposed to monitor inherent background radiation in the universe. As soon as they launched it, they couldn't get it. They couldn't communicate with it. It was swirling around the Earth for almost 20, 25 years. When a generic or a novice astronomer was using an old K-band satellite dish to communicate. He was using it as a ghetto-rigged radio telescope, and he had managed to communicate with the satellite. The satellite was perfectly functional. That was a $40 million piece of equipment that's up there that hasn't been doing anything for the last 25 years. It was communicating perfectly. They just did after so many months of it not being able to communicate with it, they gave up. But it's working. I mean, shit like that is up there.
Yeah. What do you do with it all, though? I mean, it's just how many pictures can you take? You know, how many radars do you need to, scan the planet?
Well, it's inherent. What we're dealing with right now is, there's just so much garbage up there, floating around, flying at 20 to 5,000 miles per hour, or faster.
It's kind of like going down the road and throwing your trash out the window.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of hangs around the edge of the highway, and so everybody else can see it.
Oh, I got a new one for you guys. So I got another thing to turn the tides on this one. So Texas might have accidentally decriminalized marijuana. Did you hear about that one?
No, I didn't. But it would have to be an accident here because we're kind of butt backwards here in Texas on that one.
So
Yeah.
they
Really
legalized the hemp law, which allowed hemp production was essentially legalized 100%. You know what, that farmer law that was going around, that was legalized in Texas, and in doing so, they accidentally decriminalized weed due to the verbiage, and now this is creating a backup in the Texas state law system where they can't prosecute marijuana charges at the time being. So if you get arrested on a weed charge, you can fight that shit in court in Texas right now.
Man, it's going to put a dent in the good old boy system down here. I'm not sure how long that's going to last.
It's a loophole for right now. I'm not sure if every court case is catching this one on, but if you're a lawyer and you're listening, this is 100% going on right now.
Well, that's good news, actually.
Yeah.
Like I say, yeah, it would have to be an accident.
It was an accident for sure.
Yeah.
And another thing that's been going on, like, does anybody know what the fuck is going on with this USA Greenland purchase, and then Denmark saying they wanted to buy America? Like, this came up when I wasn't listening to C-SPAN or NPR or anything. Like, what the fuck is this shit about?
We'll see. I mean, Trump's stepping it up. He's the chosen one. He's King of Israel. So pretty soon he's going to be emperor of the planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, within a month. I think he could pull that off.
But Greenland has resources. I'm not gonna lie, they do, but you can't get at any of them. It's off. First of all, it's buried under a mile thick of ice, most of it, which can be drilled. That's true. But your as far as I remember, there's a lot of environmental agencies protecting these resources as well. So purchasing Greenland is not exactly a economic powerhouse when it comes to minerals and natural resources. You're essentially buying an icy rock in the middle of nowhere with few resources.
Well, it's really a bad sign because I mean, Trump's all about making the real estate investment out of the thing. So first of all, you have to have a big Trump tower there with his name on it. It'd be the first thing you see on the horizon.
But I think there's only 50,000 people live on this huge island, and most of them live only on polar opposites of central Greenland on the coast. So there's really not a whole lot there. I mean,
oh no, there's got to be minerals. I mean, that's
there are minerals,
That's
but
why you do it.
they're deeply protected by environmental agencies.
Well, it's a small government. They should be able, easier to buy off, especially if you're a billionaire.
I guess. I mean, you'd have to wait till a mile thick of. Well, you can always drill through a mile thick of ice, but you'd have to constantly adjust for the melting. But I don't know. And then Denmark wanted to buy the United States. I thought that was a joke, but apparently there was some serious offer. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it may be. You never know. Countries do this every now and then. That's how we bought land at.
That's how we bought. Alaska.
Alaska, yeah. Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it'd be a good purchase.
I'm not gonna lie there. I mean, it definitely has
I
potential.
don't know where it comes from.
Yeah. It's just there's really not.
I think originally Greenland was also like colonized, right, by people from that area.
It was actually Dutch, but I
Denmark.
think before it was Danish. Right?
Yeah, but
they seem to have it now.
the Vikings. I think it was Eric the Red. I think
Leif
they
Erikson,
came
yeah.
from Norway. Yeah, it's probably Norway. It's a Norwegian name. So it's from Norway, I think, and he like colonized like the shoreline. And he called it Greenland, but it was not actually.
Yeah,
that
Greenland
green.
was ice and Iceland was green. Or vice versa.
Sucker people. That's how you sucker people to go there.
Or go to Greenland, it's green. No, it's full of ice.
Why would they call it green then?
I how these people are arriving there.
That's what I always thought that the Mormons thought when they reached the salt flats or the seas. I thought that they had reached the Pacific Ocean when they got to the salt so they got to the salt lakes. You guys don't get it, do you?
No, I don't. If they were, that was kind of dumb. But
yeah,
hey,
I was gonna say Brigham Young wasn't exactly sober.
And they were having a lot of visions out there in the desert. They were probably overheated.
Brigham Young was notoriously known to ingest magic mushrooms and smoke marijuana.
Well, shit, you'd have fit right in there with him, Tyler. I mean, that's a good guy, man. Just because he has a few visions here and there, I mean, I'm not going to hold that.
Written on gold tablets that nobody can find. Okay. Practice polygamy. That's
gold tablets.
There's golden tablet. Yeah. Here's the deal. It's like, why would a like this is you got to think about this shit. Why would a omnipotent being who knows everything in the universe, and I've talked about this with several people through from different belief structures, why would a deity need tablets made out of gold written in English, which could have been any language, for this fucking guy out in the desert who's ingesting magic mushrooms? Come on. Like, really?
English is the language of God, of course.
Well, he understands the craven nature that you have with gold and what it actually means, like what that gold actually means.
But didn't it
He's
say
just playing?
didn't it say like in the back of Revelations that there will be no more prophets and beware of the false ones? Just saying, dude.
That's what I've been saying to these Q guys too, but they don't listen.
I mean, even the Jews kind of said the same thing: beware of false prophets. But then Jesus kind of came around. They weren't sure if he was the next Messiah, and then I can say several other religions based on there, but I'm pretty sure we'll get a lot of fucking hate messages. I'm not going to go there. But the prophets ended a couple thousand years ago, guys.
Well, Muhammad was the end of the era of the prophets, right?
Well, I don't want to get into that argument, but it was about 500 years too late. But I'm pretty sure I'll get some feedback around there too. A lot of hate mail. That's why I'm not religious.
Oh, well, you got to wonder about it all after a while. Sure seems kind of funny,
Yeah, it really does. And then Judeo-Christian lore has its roots in polytheistic religions before it was converted into monotheistic religions. So it has its roots in a lot of different places. So it's
But they're all the same. They all want to kill everybody else and take control.
Most of them do. They
behind the scenes. That's what they really want. Yeah.
Polar opposites, good and bad. What is this? Polar opposites is usually the general theology between both of them, unless you go into Buddhism where it's all encompassing.
Well, the polytheism you do see it back again in the Catholic Church, right? That was actually the polytheistic society of like the Roman Empire, and they switched to like monotheism.
That's why they had to incorporate the Council of the Trinity shortly after the canon, because the Jews and the Christians were going at it in the Holy Land, and Constantine wanted to adopt Christianity mainly because of his mother. His mother had adopted it, but it was also because of this battle that had happened, and it's an old wives' tale. He said that he saw a cross in the sky, which they think might have been a meteor. They don't know, and he said this is the way it went down, or according to the story, that he said that I would pray to that God. If that God will win my war, I will pray to that God, and it will be the official religion of the Roman state, the Roman Empire. And they won that battle, and there was a lot of bullshit around it. But when they tried to implement Judeo-Christian religion into the polytheistic or the religion that they already had, they had a lot of problems. So then they had to incorporate the Council of the Trinity, where they had to incorporate the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, because those were three different gods. Like kind of like a Power Ranger. You put them all together, they become one god. So they had to do that for the pagans, and had to incorporate some of the saints that were similar to their demigods, just to appease the pagans.
Yeah, well, only look at like the story of Mary. That they're now worshipping like the mother of Jesus, for example.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. There were these weird. Okay, the story of Jesus was never like supposed to gravitate towards the mother and the father and this and that. They were supposed to gather towards the message. But like these other religions, they started like, nah, man, maybe I get some power out of the mother, or maybe even the baby would be more powerful than that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's part of killing Christianity. They have to get you away from Jesus, and then they kill that off, and then the others can fight it out.
But yeah, the Jews and the Christians, or the first followers of Jesus, they were killing each other for almost 300 years in the Holy Land.
Yeah,
well, nothing says holy like killing somebody, does it?
Oh yeah, rabbis, and priests were going at it. Well, they weren't exactly priests. They were followers of Christ, and they were, they did some weird stuff. They were also known as, I think they were, some of them had adopted Gnosticism and had wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls and others, and there was some weird cults that had come up around the times of Jesus, where there was this cult that they wanted to die a clean death, free of sin, so that when they became converted into Christianity, they believed that it was their life goal to be slain and pure of heart, so they would encourage people to try and kill them so that they can die a clean, sinless death. That really happened. There was a lot of weird shit that was going around before the canon was adopted,
Yeah, you know that
a lot more sex.
Go ahead.
The Vatican was even like selling these little papers to.
Yeah, you could pay your way into heaven.
Yeah. And they were also like worshiping all these different statues and all this. So weird stuff, but that sparked the whole Christian revolution in the German area later on with Luther and
Indulgence.
destruction. Yeah, he wrote the People's Bible, and that created the German language. Even that was the first. It was actually the creation of of the German language, the writing of the People's Bible by Luther, like a unified German language, so to speak. So, yeah, but they were like destroying all these Catholic statues and creating these own churches and.
Oh yeah. The Catholic Church destroyed Norway too. They were they built all of their churches over the old temples.
Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah, yeah, but that was the same thing as the Romans also always did. That was the same tactic. Like Romans also adapted the Greek gods before and the Greek temple, even the building styles and everything. Yeah, they did the same with northern European countries. They conquered later on with Christianity. Yeah, adopting pagan rituals into.
I was gonna. Yeah, that's why when when I go to a church, I always get kicked out. When I want to talk politics to the priests, it's because they don't like to hear. I don't know. I don't want to smash your belief system, but I will speak some truth.
Yeah, well, especially if they start like worshiping like Christmas trees and stuff. And
the worship of the Christmas tree has nothing to do with Christianity. That's 100% pagan belief.
Yeah,
for Yule. Yeah.
It's insanity actually that people actually do still believe in this stuff.
Yeah, same with Easter Bunny. Yeah, that was the fertility god.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Sam
strange,
Hain.
right?
Sam Hain was, before Halloween, and they always think it's the devil's holiday. It's not. It was a celebration of the fall solstice, or not the fall solstice. It was a celebration. Yeah, it was of the autumn crops. Has nothing to do with the devil.
I got all respect for people with their. Wanted to live like a good life and hope that some god respects them for it, but all the weird pagan rituals, they're not going to bring you closer to any god, I think. That's my personal feeling about it. But yeah, maybe we're all wrong, and it does.
Yeah, we'll never know when it comes to that God argument until we die, right?
But what about the concept of hell then? Because
hell was, the concept of hell was never actually described anywhere in the Bible. It's mentioned here and there a few times, but it's never actually described on what hell is. From my college professor, what did he say? He said that, God, this is years ago. He said that the concepts that we get from hell were created from the Greeks, from the lake of fire and shit like that, Hades.
Yeah,
and then it was
underworld.
Then it was reiterated in the 900s of what hell was like from Paradise Lost, from Paradise Lost, from the 9 levels of hell Who wrote that? Paradise Lost. God, it's really old. God damn. Paradise Lost. Who wrote that? Paradise Lost.
The English poet John Milton.
John Milton, yeah, 1667. That's where we get the first description of what hell is. So we had to wait 1,600 years later after the canon.
Yeah, but the thing is, so it does have like this whole Hades thing that
Yeah.
it's obviously related, but it also is. We also see it in the Norse religion, right?
Well,
we
yeah,
have
Cerberus.
Asgard,
Cerberus.
Midgard, and yeah, so heaven is like Asgard, and then Midgard is where the humans live, and we have Helheim is the underworld. It's actually called Helheim, which is a very similar name. So,
Yeah,
must have something to do with
three-headed dog. The three-headed dog that guards the gates of hell has nothing to do with Christianity. Yeah. That's Greeks. It was the Greek religion.
Yeah. So it must be shocking to people who actually.
Well, you can ask the Jews if they believe in hell, and all of them will say that it doesn't exist. You know.
The thing with in Christian religion, the biggest fear was that you were not allowed into heaven or whatever. That's like a big fear. Like if you are not living the right way, you will not be allowed
the Greeks
heaven.
the Greeks believed that everybody went to hell. Everybody went to hell. Nobody was excluded. You all go to hell.
Yeah, but in the Norse religion, so the Viking ones, is in Asgard, to be allowed in, you have to be killed on the battlefield. So.
Isn't Asgard? Wasn't Asgard like a weird place where you like go fuck and you go like fuck some chicks and then you eat a whole bunch of food and then you go leave Asgard and you go fight and you die and you come back and you do it all again?
Yeah, but the problem is to enter there, you have to actually die on the battlefield, and there were only men on the battlefield.
Oops.
So, the whole, sorry, we can't do the gay bashing here, but I mean, the story is a little different because there were no women obviously in Asgard because they were not on the battlefield. Well, maybe some.
They were in the camp.
Yeah, they were probably in the camp. Yeah, they could also die on the battlefield.
Straggling behind.
Watch our ratings go down.
Yeah. Can they get any lower?
I don't know. We're not even getting paid for anything. We never get paid for anything. So it's like, do we even care? Not really. Oh God, what else? What else do I have to get us off of this theologian? Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg is his. According to the New York Times, people are abandoning their Facebook accounts because that Zuckerberg has gone through another wiping of 3 billion more accounts. So people's normal accounts are getting wiped out from this, and people are not trying to get their accounts back. And in the last couple of weeks, Zuckerberg has sold 200 million of his own shares of Facebook stock. So he's starting to get to that level where he might not become a majority shareholder if he keeps this up.
He's like bailing out right now.
Yeah.
Shit, that's $1 billion, ain't it?
200 million. 200 million.
200 million shares?
200 million in shares, not 200 shares. 200 million in shares. Yeah. So.
Yeah, still a lot of money.
Yeah, I think he's slowly on the exit plan because Facebook is in decline. Instagram is sort of on the rise, but honestly, guys, like as successful as it is, there are other platforms that are killing it when it comes to video and messaging platforms. Snapchat seems to have like a slight edge over it. It's very minuscule, but it's there.
You're right. It is actually in a huge decline again. The stocks. That
Yeah.
is shocking. Because it went up. We did the whole the delete Facebook stuff, and it was like crashing down, right? Then it went up again and went crashing down, and then it reached like a top level. But now it is going down like seriously.
Yeah, he's in decline. Like I said, guys, he might lose it at the end quarter. Like I'm not gonna say this. Like I hope it happens next quarter, but most likely we'll see in the next couple of years. It'll be a MySpace. There'll be a few sell-offs here and there. It'll be like yesterday's news. It'll never completely die. It's like the cockroach that won't die, but it'll die eventually. He's already in, the people that are, I believe the Oculus is facing problems because of his bad decisions. So anything he touches goes to shit. Also what happened to Facebook VPN? I don't think that's even around anymore. Remember that? How the hell is this guy supposed to fucking launch LibraCoin? I don't know.
Well, he did get a few, I mean, really high up, rich folks to sign in on that, banks and whatnot. So
he might actually get a coin out there, but his platform's people aren't gonna gravitate towards Facebook because of LibraCoin.
no, that's not going to work.
No.
People are tired of Facebook. You've already taken a big dump on that. You have to call it something else.
Yeah, he's gonna have to rebrand it or something.
There's no way. He has to leave. Something's going to have to change big time.
Well, it's just people just don't give a shit about the platform. It's like it's not what it was supposed to be, and it has become into the censorship police, and it's not fun, and you're monitored. And the user is the product, not what the user's content is. Well, essentially, they kind of are one and the same. But when you log on to Facebook, you're the product, not the product you're looking at.
Yeah, it's not generating anything in themselves. They're not making memes or whatever. It's not what they're doing. The users are doing everything.
They just got
The
rocked.
users own
Yeah, I was reading another article from their internal Facebook employee shit, and there was an employee that had quit her job because Facebook doesn't have a parental. They're okay when you get with the company and they offer new mothers neonatal plan, or they allow them to work from home, or they give them so much amount of money to go be a mother and then come back. Well, Facebook doesn't have any of these kind of policies, and an employee who was kind of high up had posted something in an internal Facebook group, and Sarah Sanders had come in and said that Facebook doesn't exactly have the resources. Dude, of course they have the fucking resources. And so much so, she was talking to fucking Mark Zuckerberg, and he said the exact same thing, that Facebook doesn't have the resources to help this. If you can't help out your own employees on neonatal care, or help the mothers out and so they can work, or get a daycare somewhere in there so they can work, from a multi-billion-dollar company, you ain't doing shit right. I'm sorry.
That these employees are even falling for that scam. That's what amazes me, because the amount, the value of Facebook is like as high as like even now when it's collapsing is as high as like maybe a top 30 country, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have like millions of employees. Of course they can pay for healthcare and stuff.
Yeah, and this is
definitely.
This is coming from the top. This is coming from an employee from One Hacker Way, not some off the wall place. And her husband was a software engineer for another rival company. So these guys weren't any nobodies. These guys were high level programmers. They just had the female had to lose her job because they didn't have neonatal care, nor would they help her out with any of these services or give her any extra time. To be honest with you, legally, that might not be their obligation, but in the aspects of making your employees happy, like Virgin Mobile says. Like if you're, the executive from Virgin Mobile said, if you want a successful company, you have to have happy employees.
Yeah,
You
of
have
course.
to.
Well, but if your users are just dumb effers, what does that make your employees?
Just about, if not even dumber.
I mean, or
Well, that's
I mean,
Yeah.
that's essentially what Facebook was built on. It was built on dumb, horny college kids. Just putting it out there for real was a way to hook up. That's all it was.
At the top value, Facebook was worth at least like 400 billion in value.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at like a country like Sweden or a country like Belgium are about the same value, and they can provide healthcare and they provide like an entire infrastructure, education, everything to their people in their country for that money. They've got the same value, and they then you're talking about tens of millions of people, and Facebook there's maybe 100,000 employees or something.
Yeah, and
They could
they
easily
outsource.
take care of it.
Yeah, they outsource everything that they can't do in the United States to the Philippines or India.
Yeah,
well, I
exactly.
think that just shows you how fake it is. It's like, it's like, come on, the 10 million can produce more than 100,000. That's not even that can't even be a real value. I know they've got it on the books, but it's like, it's just not real.
Yeah, if they I guarantee you, if Facebook had to liquidate all of its assets, I guarantee you'd be left with 1/3 of what their value is, if that.
Yeah, of course. The value is it just doesn't add up like Preston also says. It's not impossible because if you compare it to a country like Belgium with the same value, you're talking about like the second largest harbor in Europe. You're talking about like a whole industry.
Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
funny? Wouldn't it be funny if Facebook was actually running off of loans and perpetual debt? I could be right, though. I could be right.
This guy will be on the run like worse than Epstein.
Oh God.
I don't know. It will collapse. You're right. When it happens. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they can't have the $5 billion fucking the $5 billion terrorists that they keep on getting all the time.
No, exactly. They're getting like fines of 5 billion or more. And they're being cut down now too. Like
That was the biggest fine
they're like-
ever done from the Securities and Exchange Commission.
yeah, and one thing that is really going to fuck them over too is that these courts. Now, I think it was in Europe. These courts now decided that webmasters or website owners who put like a like button of Facebook on their site are now responsible for all the stuff Facebook is doing.
Oh
So
God.
goodbye for the likes, because that was their real power. Everywhere the likes on all the sites, that's what they would get their traffic.
The guy who invented the like button, he fucking I think he had a little spiel over how he hates it and he wished he never actually created it. I created the like button.
The other former CEO said like we stole all the casino sounds and we like brainwashed the people to stay on our site as long as possible.
Yeah. Literally, remember when they
shocked.
came out? The Facebook games was one of the first, not the first social media to implement games. I believe the first social media site to implement games was not MySpace. It was you remember America Online when they were just a dial-up and before they got onto the World Wide Web, they were that could have actually been considered a social media of sorts. That could have been the first one, but they they adopted all of that shit. Remember Facebook. Remember in the early mid 2000s, that was how they were building up their platform, was on games. You remember that? They had all these Facebook games, Mafia Wars, and all that shit.
Yeah, that was the stuff that made them popular for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, but they made like a deal with a super big game company. forgot what the name is. Like, but they were also involved with all these scandals. That company, like stock fraud scandals and things. I have to look that up. Like that's the major game producer now. There's like a huge. They make all these small games with fancy colors and stuff. All these older people use on Facebook.
Oh, the old people, yeah.
Yeah, the old people games. Yeah, those things. They're all made by one company, and that company, I mentioned them on Twitter before. Uh, they are also involved with a lot of scandals, all financial scandals.
I was gonna say a lot of them were like action script games back in the day. So we're talking like really old like coding and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nobody uses action script anymore. I remember I had to learn action script. That's how fucking old I am.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all. This is kind of like ancient. But at some point they all switched to like Flash
JavaScript,
games.
yeah. Action script and JavaScript are almost the same thing, except for it has the Adobe plugins for Adobe Flash. Right? You can do almost the same thing with JavaScript. It just takes a lot more code.
Yeah, and originally it was also called like I think JavaScript originally was also called like ActionScript.
Yeah, or Adobe Premiere or whatever the fuck they were calling it at that time.
Yeah. Many people confuse this with actual Java. But
Well, I mean the verbiage was very similar. It was just that. God, was I don't even remember how the fuck shit. I was smoking a lot of drugs then. I just remember there was a lot of overhead in like the I remember the most anybody was getting at that point was like DSL speeds. So a lot of these games and stuff that you were programming needed it took 2 or 3 minutes just for the games to start fucking loading, you know?
yeah.
So there was no point in programming with this fucking arbitrarily dumb language.
Well, those temporary trends, but
Yeah.
those kind of things did improve a lot. I mean, nowadays it's easy. Yeah, every kid is learning like programming and stuff. So,
Yeah.
games. For that part, I can understand why Facebook still gets some visitors, but if they're not going to survive on just that because it's too
No,
easy to embed
their main thing right now is they are, believe it or not, guys. Facebook is betting on a few of their exit strategies. What they're doing right now is they're investing in other companies and other stuff to merge into another platform. They're also betting on the gaming community to stay on Facebook, which is why they're promoting LibreCoin right now, because that's how they want you to gift, or what we would call in the cryptocurrency, there was a gifto token, so they want to gifto you the LibreCoin, which is just inherently not a real cryptocurrency. It is just a gift card from Facebook. But these kind of exit strategies aren't going to keep, like you said, they're not going to keep Facebook afloat. The way Zuckerberg, deals with the product, he's already ruined the Oculus. So he's already ruined
it
that.
sounds to me like a pump and dump scam that they are just converting real money into credits on their site.
Literally.
And then they'll dump it all. Like they're just going to harvest all the money from the people. They're going to all these people are going to buy credits to use on Facebook for whatever, and then they're just going to dump the whole thing. Like,
well, yeah,
cash out.
it's like the Facebook controls the movement. It's mined by Bitcoin. You can't mine it on your own, as far as I know. And buying things you couldn't normally buy, which was the whole point of Bitcoin, so that the government couldn't tell you what you could and couldn't buy. Facebook would determine what you could and couldn't buy with a LibreCoin. So they could essentially shut down vendors with Libra wallets, and If they don't agree with them, get rid of their terms of service. Whereas Bitcoin doesn't give a fuck on what you're buying. Neither does any other cryptocurrencies. They don't give a fuck. You could be buying boogers for all I care. They don't give a fuck. You know.
Bob is actually, yeah, no, you're right, and Bob is actually saying like the kids are leaving FB in droves, and that's true. That they're leaving Facebook.
Yeah. Back in 2013, if you asked a 12-year-old, right, if they're on Facebook, and back in 2013, 93% of 12-year-olds were on Facebook in 2013. Now it's 2019, and that level has dropped to 25%. So
Yeah. What also is interesting, we before Facebook got big in my country, we had like a site called Hives, and it was like 99% similar to Facebook. Everyone was using it, and but it had coverage in our country that was even larger than Facebook is now, or was Facebook on their max. It seemed like it was like the limit, and after that would only drop. I think we have 17 million people total in my country, right? And
Yeah.
Hives had a coverage of 13.1 million, and Facebook reached a coverage of 13 million, and that's when it started to drop. So it never reached the number Hives actually had in our country.
There's quite a few other platforms that were much bigger than Facebook that are not well known about outside of their countries, like Vandecote and OKRU. Is big in Soviet countries. But,
VK is big.
Yeah.
Now it's growing fast too. It has hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah, there's also CC in China. It has over a couple 100 million people in there on it.
Well, even Discord here is growing fast.
Yeah.
It's sad that the Discord has over 450 million now.
Or QQ.
It was
Sorry,
only
QQ,
nine-
not CC. I'm thinking of .cc for or .cn for Chinese.
You're right.
It's
Yeah, QQ, I know that. This is also a big site. But Discord, for example, like 1 year ago had like 90 million, and now it has 450 million. And it kind of happened all since delete Facebook. And the same for Twitter. It went from 350 million active to, they say now, over 1 billion active on Twitter.
Yeah.
Since delete Facebook. So you can see that there's like a real spike in other social media, grown really, really fast now. Besides like Gap, they're close to 2 million now.
Yeah, but those are like Twitter clones, though. Those will always be around. I haven't seen the Twitter clones go around for a good 5-6 years now.
Yeah, there are many others.
Yeah. But Facebook, like I've been saying for the last year, the Facebook is in decline, just like that old bum fights video, in decline. God, am I the only sick fuck who watched those videos? I think so. Watching homeless people beat the fuck out of each other.